And we can kind of see it. They're playing a little slower.
Magandang gabi sa lahat. Oh my goodness, this is it.
Especially the teams
Pansit,
up north.
mga buddy.
They're taking their time to rotate. They're just
Kamusta kayong
waiting to
lahat,
see
mga buddy?
where
This is
this
the
next
grand
one goes.
finals
So, I think
ng
Godlike can kind of play that
PUBG
into their advantage, right?
Grand
For a fact, other teams
Global
are gonna be playing
Championship,
slow, trying to
ladies
get a
and
little loose,
gentlemen.
feel comfortable.
Eto
And I
na,
think,
mga buddy.
Day one, if I'm Godlike, I'm just
So,
looking
syempre,
for
andito na naman tayo
consistency.
para panoorin kung
And what I mean
sino
by that
mananalo
is,
dito
I
sa
mean,
bakbakan natin.
Constant placement points every single game with a couple elim points, right? Just get a good foothold on the overall leaderboard.
Kakasimula na ng first
day
game
2 and 3
ng ating PUBG Mobile Global Championship.
What I saw
Kamusta
in
kayong lahat, mga buddy?
is that Godlike is one of those teams that is really kill hungry, right? They go for those kills. They're kind of like an aggressive team.
Binabati ko lahat ng mga nakatune in. Kamusta kayo?
Consistency is what really matters, and you need to go for those placement points as well. Just kills points isn't gonna seal it. You need those placement points as well to try to make the mark on solving leaderboard.
Men, madugo ang laban ngayong first game, ha? Sobrang madugo, mga buddy. Kaya andito tayo sa mga bago dyan. Magandang gabi sa inyo lahat. Binabati ko kayo. Kaya tayo nanonood dito ngayon ng mga professional players sa PUBG Mobile Global Championship Southeast Asia to, mga buddy. Gusto kong obserbahan ng mga galawan nila katulad nito mga pro na to. Ayun, no? Ito, pro yan, pare. Ayan, no? Yung mga pro yan. So alam niyo naman, bubuo tayo ng PUBG Mobile Pro Team sa Pilipinas. Nandito ang Navi, Infinity, Team STE. Oh my God, man. Lahat ng mga malalakas nandito po, mga buddy. At syempre, obserbahan natin kung sino manalo dito kasi, men, eto na eh. Kung malalaman natin kung sino manalo ngayong taon sa PUBG Mobile, sino magkakaroon ng chicken dinner. Yes, sir.
But as I mentioned, Fenerbahce's position definitely kind of in the they're like right in the center of the zone as well. And Godlike now.
Binabati ko lahat ng mga nakatune in. Kamusta kayo?
Now, if you talk about West Side, Dave, we do know Navi is one of those teams that do like to go for those late rotation in these military-based circles, and it never pans out for them.
No, so we'll definitely keep tabs on them here in game number 1. I'm looking at
Diba pa shoutout? Yan, binabati kita. Jero Nino, what's up? Christina Flores, thank you so much. Sabihin nyo sino manalo dito. Chicken dinner.
Both teams kind of backed off from each other for the time being. And that's kind of the story that we are seeing for a lot of these teams here early game.
Valorant ako bukas. Ayan na, nagkakabakbakan na. Wow, nice shot. Grabe yun, what a shot.
Yeah, the failed boat tate out there on that west side of the coast. So Navi, they didn't bridge camp, but they are doing a good job at trying to pick up whatever type of elim points they can out there.
Mga naka-M4 A1 siyang lahat, ha?
Oh, dude, Navi definitely just beaming him out the border, man. Unfortunate, the boat just blew up in 628.
Yan, lahat sila may mga cam na ngayon, ha?
Players already inside the game.
Solid.
Definitely going to be having those sad faces. But yeah, Navi, I do like the huge improvement that Navi has shown. They're already on the military island. They're kind of looking
ayan na, bakbakan na.
On the south side. A huge separation, but still, they have a lot of time to work it out. But DXavier making bold rotation out in the open, taking little shots from Nova. Nova as well, making sure that DXavier not going to be stopping by anywhere near.
Looks like Nova Esports is going to be picking up a nice little compound here. 3-1 split. They got 3 squad mates out there on that west side.
Uy, nice shot!
Straggling in the back line
dito, God L. Pinapaputukan ang Team 4 Revel, mga buddy.
Early game positions.
Yes, early game positions ang kailangan natin dito.
They were somewhat dead center. Next circle is going to shift here very shortly. Let's see, will it play into their favor?
May vlog po, Kuya Von. Oh, meron tayong vlog ngayon.
All the way up there at that radio tower.
Ayan na, pinapaputukan niya na.
Will it pay off? We'll find out right now.
Mga aggressive players to, ha?
It does. It does. STG and Fenerbahce right in the center of the zone. Fenerbahce having the majority of the center, but again, the split is good, but if even one of the players gets bought out, and even if he gets taken out, that's going to be quite a huge task for Fenerbahce to go back to that player and get the rest back up. So I feel like at this point in time, they should be a little gathered up. Maybe a 2-2 split can work out.
Magkikita dito ang Team Secret at DWG. Pinaputukan siya.
Team
Dumapa
Secret
bigla.
looking like they're gonna pull
Wow.
up. So far, it's a 2-2 split, but the
Nice
other two
reflex
squad mates
sa
in the
Team
back
Secret
line
dito,
trying to
mga
group
buddy.
up. Buy shots though, many in hand.
Ayan na,
Apply
pinapasok
that
na ng Team
pressure.
Secret, mga buddy.
Here
Ito
we go.
na.
First fight,
Ayan na,
first
papasukin na
quarter
po.
for the game.
Oh, here we go.
Dapa,
Kill
mga
already found,
buddy.
jumper being taken out. Instantly gets confirmed as well. Fredo has a little bit of disadvantage with that low
Oh,
ground.
no.
He gets taken out as well. And now shots.
Patay ang dalawang
he's
Team
taking some
Secret
shots
dito,
from the left side.
gagi.
He needs to watch out because
Oh,
Judy has
no.
a huge advantage. Also with that high ground, and shots doesn't really have a good position.
Naku,
He just
patay.
has that wiggle to work with and gets blown to smithereens.
Oh.
Just like that now. He's been taken out of the
Gagi.
game, and that's going to be it for Team
Out of the
Secret.
game agad.
Eliminated,
Ang Team
Dave. The
Secret
first team to get
dito.
eliminated in the first game.
Wow.
Malas,
down
buddy.
1-2. One of the teams definitely showing up here from their region, cashing out, looking to continue
Secret
trucking
eliminated
along
agad,
with
mga
that
buddy.
momentum. And we were looking at Godlike a couple moments ago as they were crashing out there in the distance. Looks like Alpha 7 might have caught a whiff of a squad back here. They're going to be setting their flag right now on
Ganda
the
ng pwesto
beaches and the
nito, mga
terrain.
to.
They are
Ito yung mga,
looking
dito
to
tayo
just stay
mapapalaban
back
sa
here
mga to
and
eh.
get these elim points. Looks like
Mahuhusay
they'll be
itong mga
camping
to.
this one out.
Yan, binabati ko.
Oh,
Wow.
they have to.
What, woo?
Because, I mean, A7 clearly knows
Kamusta?
that they have the prime
Makoy?
position inside this fight. They can just try and hold
Buddy,
on top
kamusta?
line. But that's a beautiful knockout found in the A7 involved.
Salamat sa pagdalaw,
Four rivals just
kaibigan.
making that rotation. They
Namiss
were like,
kita.
all right, this is our right moment to go in.
Maraming
And they
salamat
just
sa-
sneak past through Alpha 7.
125 po sa mensahe, pare.
Enough time for Godlike to make that
Oy,
push
mami,
happen.
thank you.
And here we do have Clutch caught as well, falling down in that
go.
push.
Wow, Carrillo, what a great anchor position. They were in the back lines,
Stop naman
pretty
dun.
much playing oversight of their three squad mates that
Oh
were
my
pushed
God.
ahead. And it looks like it paid off. But let's see, though.
Down
Jonathan
agad
with that
dito.
wide rotate.
Naku, hindi ko
Now he's
nakita
gonna
kung
be
ano
inside
nangyari.
the smoke,
Ayan
looking
na,
to pause
ginagranada
this
na.
play,
Boom!
looking for a
Lucas
couple.
agad!
Kaboom! Goes
Kaboom,
Jonathan
boom!
right there with the double.
Oh, that's
Oh my
filthy.
goodness.
That's disgusting.
Oh my
These three
goodness.
players knocked out, but unfortunately, Godlike.
Naku, i-revive mo na yung mga
Only left with
tropa
one man
mo.
standing. Same thing goes with
Naku,
Alpha 7.
this
Now
is
Jonathan
a
gets
1
Neil back above his
versus
feet. That's gonna be
2
size relief
situation
for him.
dahil yung tatlong tropa niya
Not
mga
like
down
that.
na.
Jonathan's
Grabe
looking
yung
for the
granada
kill, trying
dun.
to take out the final man as well. That's gonna be his main goal.
Ayun, nice
But
shot,
guess
nice
what?
shot.
The
Pero
reply comes in through
na-revive
from the
niya
side
ulit.
of Korea. Korea as well is one of those players. He's one of the best out there. You can't just
Oh my
challenge him like
goodness.
that.
Shoutout, boss. Von,
Yeah,
yan.
Carrillo is in the
Treadmill,
back
binabati
line,
kita,
though.
pare.
So best case scenario for Carrillo.
Trick,
try to
binabati kita.
avoid the
Feeling ko si
sidelines
Makoy,
and
ano
just
yan eh.
survive at this
Pro
point. They do not
PUBG
want to get
player
taken
yan
out
eh.
Right here, right now.
Ano,
because
Makoy?
the 14th position in
Pare,
game one
gusto ba
would
maging-
get them 0 points, and that is not
Ano?
how Alpha 7 want to start
PUBG
this. But huge
Mobile
props to
Pro
Jonathan
Team dito
right
sa
there.
Pinas.
That double grenade definitely
Kaya
turned
na
the
kailangan
tides
natin makahanap ng
for
mga pro eh.
Godlike.
Oh, that did. That
Mako,
was disgusting. Nate.
Dito
Without a doubt,
magkakaharap
H2G.
ang Team FBA.
Evan just kind of driving off the compound. Didn't realize it's already being
I mean
occupied
FB
by
lang pala.
Fenerbahce.
Team FB.
Not interested in taking it. Fenerbahce doing a good job. For Billion as well, trying to secure the vehicle, just making sure the tires
Ayun na! 4 versus 4 situation, mga bati. Kaso hindi ko makita. Ayan na, pinasok na! Ipinasok na! Down dito, hindi ko na alam kung ano nangyayari. Ang bilis ng pangyayari, mga kaibigan. Hindi ko alam kung saan ako manonood.
On their side.
Oh my
Wanna see how
God.
this fight's gonna be panning
Pero
out. Now it's
down
all
ang
down to the
dalawa
machine.
ng Team NR dito. So ngayon, sabi nila, wait lang, recover muna tayo.
Overshot
Okay,
it just a
recover.
little bit. Does look like their teammate was able to pop into their compound, looking to get that revive. And here comes Noxball with the support here. Looks like
Okay,
the revive's
reviving
more
na,
successful
reviving.
on the next Rhea. Let's see though, Noxball has a lot on their
Ayan na ang
plate.
granada,
They
papasok
need to
ba?
push this one out.
Boom! Muntik
Oh,
na.
Third party. To close this one out, but third party from Stalwart Esports.
What? May
It's
third party,
Pika
yun lang.
who takes out Noxbomb. Duke and Machine again. Rebellion. These two
Naku,
players
pag may
alive.
pumasok na
Duke and
granada
Machine,
niyan,
we
patay
do know
tayo sila.
what this man is capable of. He can pull off some insane clutches, but again,
Ayan
he's
na.
kind of like that man who
Boom.
likes to
Oh,
stay as
what?
squad as possible, but that beautiful
Patay,
net
man!
Wow.
is going to be taken out. Rebellion is also getting burnt down with that
Patay,
Molotov.
gagi.
That's not a good sign for Fenerbahce. Things are slipping out of their hands.
Yeah, next Rio. They
Grabe,
were
sumasawsaw
able
lang
to
yung
get
Team
the full
STE, pare.
reset over here. 4 squad
Masarap
mates.
sa mga
Pretty
ganitong feeling
solid
na
compound.
sumasawsaw-saw ka lang eh.
This area, dead center. Let's see, Duke Machine back against the wall.
Richard, nabayo, binabati kita.
Right now,
The
European
bad boy.
man.
Ooh,
no
nice shot.
chance.
Drop shot.
No chance right
Okay.
there. Next Rio, taking that compound from Fenerbahce.
Team FB
Uzi's
is
just
out
too good in those close range. Just an absolute
of our
shredder.
first game, mga buddy.
That drop shot as well, just in the mix. Oh, it's just kind of like a sprinkle of salt. top of it. But yeah, now we have Nigma Galaxy, another one of those teams that I have definitely eyeing out for. Nova as well, having pretty decent positioning inside here. Hamoudi in the front lines of Nova. King and Powerboy just trying to hold him off of Bay.
Really do enjoy what Nova Esports have been doing this whole game.
Wow, nice shot.
With these splits here. So
Nice
now
shot.
they're going to be separated for the time being. But Don1 still out here just destroying the edge right now of the play zone. Hugging it. 5 elim points so far this game here. Necro, talk about starting strong. That's exactly
we got 13
what they are doing.
I mean,
And if I'm not
12 teams.
mistaken, that's
12 teams
much
left,
the same
mga buddy.
story that they did during the East
Let's
Final
see.
Championships. They started early
Navi,
with the
kumpleto
chicken
pa
dinner
dito.
and 19
Team
elim points over there in the
DWG,
finals,
kumpleto
and
pa
from there,
dito.
they just maintained it. So if they can get that same start
This
here,
game is all
Don1,
about
we might be
positioning,
looking
mga
at
buddy.
a possible
Taking over
championship top
the
5 team.
positions. Ayun, katulad
man,
niya,
the
no?
next circle
Oh my
ship's
God,
gonna be
man. Ayan na,
such a
pinapasok
huge
na.
thing,
Oh
right?
my
It's gonna
God,
move
sketchy
down
na
here.
ito.
Trust me, it
Sketchy
is.
na
And
ito.
yes, it
Ayun na,
does.
down.
And now the only teams are in. They have a couple components on their name, but they're the only going to be the lucky ones. Don1
Nice
Gaming
shot,
seems
nice
like
shot
they're
by
just
Navi.
getting absolutely
Ito, sabi
demolished
nila
by
na
Navi
down mo yan,
because
sige,
Navi has
babakapan
huge
ko
high
yan.
ground. With the high ground, they have also
Ayun,
got a huge
Granada,
advantage over
tingnan
Don1
natin
Gaming.
kung
So Don1
tatama,
Gaming,
hindi
they
tumama.
will need to try and take care of Navi if they want to make it out of this tricky situation. And for
Naku,
that, they will
boom!
find another
What
knockout.
a
That will
Kobe
find them in no time, but the
grenade
nade
para
from
kay
Dixie
Navi!
will keep Sun
Ayan na,
down.
isa pa! Boom!
They
One more,
need
one
to
more,
clean this
one
one
more.
up quick too if you are Don1 because you are about to be pinched from Nova Esports
goodness
from
gracious.
behind.
Oh
So
my
hopefully
goodness gracious.
they have their head on a swivel and they don't just get sandwiched here.
Baka masandwich
Oh
sila
man,
dito.
Pixie still just looking to inflict pain, and I do also see Nova kind of closing their distance
Oh,
on them. And yes,
GG.
Nova is looking to third party.
Third
This is a prime
party, my
situation.
buddy.
Powerboy in the front has a nade cooked up, and this nade might just be $1 million nade, but no, instead it was little underhand. Just kind of understandable. Did not really
Naku,
make it up to the
dami.
mark. 4 still knocked down for
Dami
Don1
na
Gaming,
dyan, no?
including Junie. Fabian, I can just
dead.
imagine this
GG.
man's nerves right now. They're probably rattling. And just
Team
like that, Don1 Gaming
DWG is
as well
out
getting
of the
eliminated.
game. Ano sayang, man.
And Navi, they do have the high ground, but they also have that little dip in the terrain up there that's really helping them.
Naku po, Navi
keep
down.
Their sight lines low from Stalwart in the back line. But after that one push, they were able to get a couple elim points, and they started to pull back because they recognized
Okay.
that there is another
Sabi ng
threat
Navi,
downhill. And that
relax
little dip
muna
that I
ako
was just
dito.
talking about, it
Recover
might be their
muna.
demise actually because
Masyado
Stalwart,
aggressive.
they reposition and
Come
now
on,
they
come
have
on, come
sight
on.
lines on
Recover,
that dip.
recover.
So Navi, nowhere to go.
Oh,
my
no,
God,
you
GG.
definitely nowhere to go. They did get themselves decent amount of
Oh,
elim
no.
points, if I'm not wrong, from that previous fight, but still. Now,
Nako,
the
dead.
moves out in the open.
Team
They will have
Navi
to move from cover to
out
cover.
of the game.
And just like that, not enough cover. Indeed,
Not
and
enough
Nova
cover.
going to be catching a little glimpse of Navi. Xavier as well, if I'm not wrong, it's just going to be it. He's trying to just survive for as long as possible.
Grabe.
With those meds, but not going to be
Shoutout
able
po,
to make
Joan
it for
Gonzaga,
that long.
mamaya, ah. Wait
Mela
lang.
gets his game spawn from
Naging
the back,
intense na
and
dito
it's
eh.
going to be Xavier who does that.
Ayun na. 8 teams na lang po, mga buddy. Pucha. Team S2G. Napakaganda ng pwesto dito. Sabi ko naman sa inyo eh. This game is all about positioning.
6
Taking over the positions, mga buddy.
Playing that west side, Stalwart Esports have been playing that east side of these zones. They're about to meet here very shortly. I do see Top, I do see King, kind of
Nako,
up close and
gumagalaw
personal
na,
with each
gumagalaw
other. But
na
right
ang
now, the
ating-
main focus has to be this next circle. Where
Ang ating
will
circle.
it go? Who will be favored? I'm looking at next Rio. They got a compound. Will it be favored? If so, they're going to have a huge advantage.
Oh man, but still the
Man.
circle out in the open
Dala
like that,
kami.
and now favoring
Nako.
next Ria as well.
Dala.
Kind of
Kami.
favoring, not really. They're kind of like on the edge of the zone, but still they have the only compound inside the zone as well. So next Ria,
Kulit na to.
they
Wait
are
lang,
going to be having
kukunin
huge
lang
sigh of
ako.
relief after that zone shift. But Noah, do you realize there's a team in the front? Need to watch out because it's Stalwart Esports as well. It's not just any other team. One of the best teams out there. Noah as well.
Ang cute
You
ni
can't
Nala.
really underestimate them for sure. So this is going to be
Ang galing.
definitely a clash of
Kaya
titans.
nabaliw si
Down there
Winty
in the
na
bottom right
obsess
hand
eh.
corner. Chilling. Talk about
Ganda-ganda
snaking
kasi
it to
ni
make
Nala
it.
eh.
Talk about
Nung
looking
nagdalaga,
to place some
ayun.
points here.
Bininyagan agad.
I hope this pays off for him.
Bininyagan
But
ka
one of the
agad
main-
no.
Just taking a nap.
No.
Just taking a nap.
Winty
Yeah,
no.
One of the main fight. We got two main fights actually. You got Nova Esports Stalwart up there.
Girlfriend po
Force
pala
and
ni
North. Now
Winty.
S2G
Mga buddy,
crashing
pakilala ko lang sa
next Ria's
inyo.
compound.
Girlfriend ni
Oh,
Winty,
dear.
eh no.
They do realize the prime compound.
Okay.
And HTG
Ooh.
is one of those teams that will not back out.
Kakagranadahan na dito mga buddy.
This nade might
Napaka-intense.
do it. Yes, it does. Confirms the elim. That's going to be a
Oh my
huge
goodness.
thing for them next Ria.
Yung nasa bahay na yan, kala nyo safe sila? Hindi sila totally safe dyan, to be honest. Kasi, men, babatuhan sila ng babatuhan ng granada time to time. Ayan na, pinapasok na sila ng team FB. Oh my goodness gracious, oh my god. Okay, tatlong team ang naglalaban dito, napakagulo na, parang mga mangyayari, pero eto na, ayan na, bakbakan na ng bakbakan mga buddy. Papasukin niya ba? Papasok ba siya? Ayun, down.
They are one of those teams that are pretty good as well, so we cannot underestimate them for sure. But H2G realizing the same fact, and now they're also trying to push in a little bit more. This means next 3 are getting sandwiched.
Guro ako, gagawin ko dito, higa na lang ako sa isang tabi.
They play this one so slow, so methodical. They recognize the push from the opposite end from Furious, and that was the time
I survive dito, Team NR.
Collapse, and now it
alright, last
last
4 teams remaining. Team STE.
In the health department.
Team STE, relax lang sila. Oh my god, ayan ang sinasabi ko sa inyo. Team STE is just relaxing. Doon, dito.
So they're gonna have 3 up here late game. That's huge.
Oh, he also lobbed in the native side of the shack. That means he will have to move out.
Lang
And he does. Confirming the
Winston
elimination as
Kalbang,
well.
boss
Next 3
grabe
are now eliminated
yung
out the
tour.
game.
Tawa ko ha, good luck.
Only top 3 teams
grabe
left,
yung
Dave.
tour.
Oh my god, I can already feel my adrenaline rush over here.
Winston Kalbang, appreciate the $2 super chat, buddy.
By the way, look who's still alive.
Pinabati kita, buddy. Appreciate it, man. Love you, brother.
So that is huge.
Binabati kita. At syempre sa mga buddy natin dyan, Asuli, Rose Dian, JV, okay. Guys, 3 teams remaining. So ang may chance dito, S2G and STE for sure.
And move around. Meanwhile, S2G, they're going to be locked behind these walls, so it's going to be a challenge for them to push out. And not only that, look at Stalwart. They're 2-2 split. They got 2 on the high ground, 2 in this dip, up close and personal. Looks like they'll be pulling back action here. They recognize their advantage, but 3 teams to go, Necro.
Yeah, I do like what Stalwart Esports is trying to do.
So this
here.
is
Actually,
a
of course, the man
3 versus
likes
4
the front
and
foot, and the rest 3
one
players
guy
back on the high ground.
situation.
That means they're going to be having so
kung yung natitirang isa pa yung manalo dito,
Stalwart Esports
na yun.
Are just simply going to dominate it the way they're playing. If they don't make any rookie mistakes, without a doubt, Stalwart Esports will dominate this final zone. But H2G as well, they have 3 players live.
Team STE.
I like how you put an action kind of that Terminator, that one that seals the deal. Has their teammates above them playing oversight, making sure that they stay alive. And now it looks like they're going to be setting top down here. So they're going to be working in tandem. Timber was connected on Silas behind the tree. Oh, it all comes down to this for game number 1.
Oh, it all does come down to
Granada.
Every single
GG.
player sweating inside the lobby.
Oh no.
And so does
nice shot,
and S2G, but S2G a little bit more pressure added on their side. As 2 players already taken out the game, and now Hamoudi as well. Seems like he's finally woken up from that nap. And well, guess what? Who takes it? Who backs the first game? It's going to be Stalwart Esports.
Let's go.
Is our winner
for our coming on top
for our game number 1
with that winner chicken dinner, but a ton of elim points.
Sila.
Hamoudi though. Hey, shout out to Hamoudi. Second place, I'll take that all day long as a solo snake, trying to avoid those sidelines, trying to play nice. That is 12 placement points in 1 game. That's solid.
Huge. Oh my goodness.
That's huge, dude. That's huge. If they're able to just play like that.
Nakikita nyo? Ay, hold up. Sorry Nakikita nyo? Merong Southeast Asia dito. May America, China, Korea.
For a start game, that's absolutely not bad. And if we talk
Susunod
about
na laban, may
limitations again, I mean,
Pilipinas na dyan.
godlike making the same kind of mistake. In these kind of southern zones, you always got to be those teams that are pretty quick to rotate. If you're not able to do so, you're just going to be held back, and that's what exactly happened. Alpha 7 was just hammering the pain into them.
GG.
Shout out to everybody watching right now, by the way. PUBG Mobile Global Championship Grand Finals, YouTube ranked stream. We got 17 more games to go. Stalwart coming on top right there.
JV, what's up, JV?
They are going to be getting a massive point lead. Not only the point lead in number 1 game, but also a confidence booster.
Fico TV, kamusta? PUBG yan? Oo, boss. PUBG to, boss. Ano, malakas ka ba?
For them to be able to
Fico
come
TV,
into
appreciate
this
the love,
lobby,
brother.
the
Thank you so much, man,
most
sa
lobby
25
of the year
persong
and coming out
mensahe.
top. That is phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, that was game number 1. Let's hear what the desk got to say about this first game. Over to you.
Well, you know what we have to say? I think Maxman was wishing we were doing predictions, not teams to watch, because he gets a prediction right. But let's be honest, boys. The guys from Mongolia coming in, taking a chicken dinner with that many eliminations, they've proven they've shown up to play.
Yeah, I mean, this is the reason why you have to look out for this team. They survived.
Grabe,
the very
ganda ng
last
setup
minute as
nila,
a
no?
four-man squad. They got themselves 14 eliminations on the very first game. They came to play here, Seven. They came here to play big time.
The way they were able to eliminate 4 rivals. I mean, 4 rivals that they were trying to pass that bridge, and Star Wars Esports were just able to hold that ground, hold that bridge camp, and then as soon as they were able to do that, the next circle popped up and they moved right away. So their communication is on point, and this is something that you were telling me, right? Yeah. They don't miss in regards to anything. I was actually really surprised too that how they were able to beat Nova. I thought maybe King from Nova was going to be able to surprise them a little bit. That backfired. King said, you know what, let me just double think that. No, I'm going to go back, and he didn't even try to challenge it. Ultimately, he ended up hurting Nova.
See, I think for me, the most impressive fact about Stalwart is the fact that this is a team coming from
Good job,
Mongolia, right? We had
Timothy.
Zeus Esports last year come in 3rd place.
Walmart,
You have
Kirby,
this team who
nabati
has
kita.
really no international
Kamusta?
experience go
Daddy.
into the global championship in the league stage and surprise us. But then to go into the finals and do something like this in match 1, they're saying to every team out there, like, you want that $1.5 million? You got to come for us. You got to come through us if you want to get it. And we can see here, 29
Yes,
points
sir.
in match 1. That is a phenomenal start.
Yeah, we were
Grabe
talking a
yun.
lot about this also.
Dali,
right? You have some teams
yung
that did
napatay
maybe
nila,
4 in the
14
stage,
kills yung napatay nila.
This is part of the few teams that
Grabe,
got
man.
themselves to 3rd place in the league and also in the league finals
That's
for the
crazy.
Eastern region, and that consistency is definitely paying off. I had the chat with Senator, the coach
Malakas
of the team, and
to,
he said
PE.
we're going for that 1st place, and Dodoy, of course, they're going to go for that 1st place with that 1st performance here.
And 7, I think one thing you have to keep in mind of is the amount of teams we did see S2G and Navi come in from West, able to perform when they need to here. There's a lot of questions around West if they compete with East, and we already see 2 teams able to do so.
Yeah, I mean, with S2G, I was even mentioning, that's one team that definitely has championship caliber for me, the way they're able to play, the way they're able to be patient, and the way they were able to kind of control that circle there too. Same with Nextria. I felt like Nextria positioned themselves really well. Ultimately, it just ended up backfiring for them. But the fight against the Fenerbahce, that was a great fight. I think Nox was able to rotate late, right, Max? I know you want to talk about this one.
I want to jump on that one. We're
Ano,
looking at
busy ako,
Fenerbahce. They
busy
had
ang malakas,
such a
yes,
good
sir.
position. I think it was around phase 4, phase 5. They had
Napanood nyo na ba ang ating ano?
and they had
Ang
a
ating
advantage to get into that
Billionaire Gang Billiards Tournament? Grabe yun.
scouting position that you do not need
Nakakabaliw yun.
a position like that.
Grabe yun.
By the side of Nextria, it was so easy to execute. Fenerbahce, a little bit of a change towards the end there.
Dapat panoorin nyo rin yun, ha?
First game.
Yeah, also important to see that Order was the MVP, and we talk about, you know,
Sabi,
teams
oh,
now
nababaliw
in
sila, oh.
2021 going into 2022. It is so important to have a
Godlike
team ball star.
Burger.
We always
Yes,
talk about
yes,
Parabol.
sir.
But we
Daming
see
fans ng
Order step up,
STE,
we've
men,
seen
eh, no?
Team step up. We've seen even QC be thrown
Grabe,
into the
daming
team
fans
in
ng
the midst
STE.
of league
Sulit,
stage and
nagwawala sila
finals,
sa
able to
comment
step up,
section.
and it's a great sign for Nova, who are the defending champions.
Definitely. I mean, another one that I know we saw Nova there, but SGG. We always talk about it with them.
Go back to West
Nova's
teams.
great, but let's talk about
Teams.
SGG.
I want to stick to my West teams, right? I know you guys are going to be pulling for those East teams. I'm going to be sticking
Boss
to the
Von,
West
kasali
teams.
ba
And
dyan
you know
ang
what? Let's even
Philippines?
skip that. Let's
Ito
go
na nga eh.
to
That's why
Godlike.
we are watching
I feel
this.
like we had to talk about that.
Kasi
Alpha 7, they were trying to bridge camp Godlike.
Susubukan
and it
natin
absolutely
pumasok
backfired.
ang Pilipinas sa tournament na to.
We're mentioning
Right.
Sa labanan sa PUBG. So magkakaroon tayo ng PUBG Mobile Pro Team. No?
Sadly, it didn't end up
Pilipinas.
working out
Yes, sir.
ultimately because they ended up losing before Alpha 7 went out. But overall, it's at least some elims and some points that are going to count towards.
The important part, though, for me in that is that Godlike are showing they're not afraid of any team, right? They're going to
Yes.
go up against Alpha 7. They're going to fight against pretty much one of the best teams from the West and be able to do a decent job. And Jonathan's showing he still has an all-star power.
Yeah, they were just ready to go for the full push onto Alpha 7. That was
Nagpa-
very
PUBG ka
impressive.
na pala. Oh,
Jonathan able
matagal
to
na ako
get somewhat, but
nagpa-PUBG.
towards the end, he was able to get Neo back on his 2 feet, which was a
Matagal
really
na.
good play. But I think, of course,
Neymar
this is a
Ignacio,
team that,
binabati
because
daw
they don't
sa
have that
bani.
international experience for a long time, the more games they're going to have, the more experience they're going to get.
Binuli
and
ni
they're
Boss
gonna
Tony
change
si
and
Kian
adapt
sa Billiards.
extremely
Oo,
quickly.
grabe
So
yun.
this first
Hello,
game,
Daddy
they're
Von
gonna
Joy,
adapt
Mami
to
Kerlin.
quick
Abangan
things,
ko
and
yung
they're
Billiards
gonna come back
Tournament
into the next
laban
round
nyo
even
ni Bayaw.
stronger.
Ayan.
Okay.
I love
Well,
you
what
too,
maybe
Alrish.
some teams,
Bukas na yan.
maybe
Grabe
let
yan.
you down, not in a super negative sense, but
Grabe
like for
yun.
instance, Damwon, they were our finals champion of East. They didn't perform too well there at the very end, but they still had a decent showing. But it's not the team that we kind of
Yeah.
would have expected after the results from finals.
Damwon is an interesting one on this game because they were trying their best to go for the swim rotation. They were trying to avoid the bridges, which is understandable, right? Because you have so many teams that have as a speciality to hold the western bridge or the eastern bridge. Here they just tried to go for full stack, swim over, and unfortunately doing so, you just lack information. They went right into Na'Vi, right into Nova, and it just went downhill from there on out.
In regards to teams that actually didn't perform that well, I want to talk about Team Secret. They ended up losing to Damwon. I feel like the rotation their push towards Damwon, it was just something that I didn't expect out of the team. It looked sloppy. The way they were able to rotate. Even one of the players, he decided to push in with a buggy. The buggy pretty much ended up going over the hill as well, and it put him in a position where he wasn't able to fight. You could see him trying to jump back in the buggy, maybe being able to shoot from the passenger seat, but nothing worked out there for Team Secret.
Yeah, but it is just match one, and Team Secret luckily do have 2 players who have played in every single final so far yet with Ice Shots and Mad Toy, dating back to 2019. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. We're going to actually do a little quick recap here. I'm not sure exactly what team it's going to be, but one thing I am sure of is you two are going to kill it talking about it.
That looks like the Kendi, man. I feel bad. I was like, bro, there's snow on the map. What's going on right now? But no, we're going to be having a little quick recap about what's happening so far. And the team I think we're going to be focusing on, we're going to see which one are we focusing on.
I think it's S2E.
I think it's
Stalwart.
Yep. Stalwart, yeah. Okay, so their usual drop that's going to go into Novo. Of course, having that sort of Nufka finish from the very get-go made it a lot easier. You don't have to cross those bridges. No need to cross that river. You're going to have a very easy time to get there. But the one thing I love, Seven, and we talked about that extensively during that game, was how they were not willing to push that compound early on because they knew that was going to be hot waters. That was going to be super contested. Just hold the northern side, wait for the circle to close off when all the teams already took that fight, and then you go for the push towards the end to get that win.
Just their timing right here. This is the main one that I wanted to talk about. Just the way they were able to surprise 4 rivals right there, being able to execute that so well. And something that I actually wanted to talk in regards to Stalwart Esports is they ended up with 14 illums, right? When we go to their healing, they only had 14 healing, and we saw them take so many engagements. That speaks volume of their positioning. They're being able to put themselves where they want to be. They're being patient as well, but when they need to strike, they're definitely striking. So Stalwart Esports, I mean, after that one game, boy, I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are currently watching are going to have them as favorites.
So I think for me, Max, looking at this, right, obviously they dropped in the perfect position for the way the zones did shift.
Yeah.
I think what's important to notice is that, yes, they had zone, but they were able to get so many eliminations. We see so many teams be able to have zone, but they just play it super passive. But we know Stalwart is not a passive team.
But that's the thing I love so much is that they knew exactly that that compound was held on by Next Rhea. That was super valuable at the time. They knew especially there was a lot of teams who were trying to survive in the midi area that were going to push out. You know that you're going to get third party through and through every time going for that push show. Just go for the high ground up north, get rid of Nova, which they did perfectly. The execution on that was top tier. And then just, you have the last circle. Sure, there was a little bit of circle lock on that very last circle, but they could have breached it anyways, even if the circle went away from them. So they played their position so well. This is why I love watching Stalwart play so much, because if they have an opportunity to win a game, 99% of the time, they are going to be able to convert that into a big win with big elimination points, which here they got 14. Big step up here.
And I mean, just going off base what we saw there, I really wish King from Nova Esports would have been able to take the fight. That would have distracted them. I feel like the rotation, when they lost that high ground, it put them in a horrible spot, as we were able to see there earlier. So maybe with Nova, I would like to see a little bit more aggressiveness out of them when it comes to that kind of stage. If you see them, because King was going to be able to surprise them. They had no idea that he was there. I know they were probably being a little bit worried, but when you are you really going to be willing to give up that high ground and then backfire like this? I think Nova Esports is going to be able to learn a lot from that fight.
I think the play for King potentially was just get in involved. If you can get a little bit of damage, potentially a knock or two, then have the rest of your team come in. But because they had the information on where King was standing and where the rest, of course, of Nova supposedly were remaining, they just went into the circle, held onto the more northern western side, and just gate-kept the rest of Nova and won that fight super easily without putting almost any effort. So Stalwart just took that easy win at the very end. It was great execution.
Yeah, you're going to be rotating pretty much to their eyesight, so might as well just take that fight. And don't put yourself in a curious situation where you're going to be losing the high ground and you're not really going to know where they're going to be shooting you at, because they're able to just pretty much pop up, hide, move around, and be able to pretty much eliminate you.
And I'm looking at Stalwart, and we've always talked about Infinity when it came to East League as being one of the most consistent teams. But if you looked at the results, right, of some of these teams, we looked at Dam1, they finished first in finals, they finished 13th in league stage. Xavier finished second in finals, 14th in league stage. Stalwart finished third in finals, third in league stage. On the other side for West, Next Rhea, first in finals, 9th in league stage. Na'Vi, second in finals, 12th in league stage. Stalwart has been probably one of the most consistent teams we have seen across both of these little mini events we've had within league stage, and they're showing that they still have that consistency now going into the grand finals.
I would not even say one of the most consistent. I would say the most consistent. Getting two third positions back to back in those two stages is really insane. But hey, they started off, as I said, I talked with Senator. They're going for that first place. They want to be that first place team at the end. They want to be called the world champion, and this is a really good start to doing so here, Seven.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be heading to a short break where we get things ready to go for our second match of the day. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon for some more PUBG Mobile action.
What's up? What's up, BG? Mga buddy, I'm back. Tensya na kayo, nag-share lang ako Ayan, next game natin. Within 1 minute! Onting minuto na lang, mag-i-start na ang ating game 3, ladies and gentlemen, at lahat kayo ay binabati ko. Pero bago yan, panoorin muna natin ang ating Billionaire Gang tournament na nangyari at ang winning shot ni Boss Tony Banks. Comment tayo dito. As mo, lakas ng chamba ni Boss Tony. Ang chamba ni Boss Tony. Haha.
Cinematic police chase. Check. We are going for a countdown. Optimize layer.
Ayan o. Guys, nakunan nyo naman to? Grabe to. Ayun o. Grabe oh, tutok na tutok si boss oh.
Uy, grabe yun.
Grabe, seryosong seryoso oh. Oh. Boom! Guys, panoorin nyo yung buong video, man. Oh my God, nagugustuhan nyo mo yan. Grabe yung nangyari. Nakakabaliw yan. So, next match is kami po na ni Bayaw. Maglalaban kami ni Bayaw. Panoorin nyo kung ano nangyari. Hindi kayo makakapaniwala. Ano nangyari sa amin dalawa ni Bayaw? Pucha, that's crazy. Okay, sa Miramar tayo. Sa mga di pa napapanood niyan, alam nyo na. Win si Boss Tony. Napanood na daw. Yan, good job. Napanood na. Yan. JM Sarsuelo, binabati kita, buddy. Kuha lang ko inumin, guys, ha. Be back.
That could happen on every single map. So intrigued to see if that's going to actually happen or not, because Nigma Galaxy early fights not really their speciality. So I think that they might try and avoid it as much as possible.
Another one to look out for that I know it actually happened. I want to add one to that list that you're putting out is going to be next Rhea. Next Ray usually tends to land there as well. They did end up changing it because they had so many engagements with Alpha 7 and Alpha 7-1. But I wonder if at this stage, more than likely not, but you know, I am being a little bit hopeful. Maybe next Ray will decide to land there and be like, hey guys, nice to see you again.
That would be funny, actually. But I feel like most teams want to avoid running into each other early on, especially in day one of the event. But I mean, we can see here our damage dealers from the first match, and Action and Top both of you making their way through. But as we saw, Order was the MVP. So usually, as I think it was Claris who noticed during East League, is that like even when Nova was not doing well, even in the week they didn't qualify for the Super Weekend, Paraboy was still the big standout player competing with the likes of I think it was like Newsy at the time, like of the teams who were in first place. We're seeing Order step up and taking a look at the limbs. I mean, this isn't too surprising.
Yeah, not too surprising. We're going to see Top. We're going to see Action being up there. Scry typically is not the one that's going to be getting most of those eliminations, right? He's the one that's trying to set up initially Top and Action, but he's just had apparently great opportunities every single time. So while not strike, while
just like, you know what? I'm tired of you guys not talking about me. I'm going to step up. Not seeing Pika here this time, but Seven, really impressive stuff from Stalwart from Mongolia.
Definitely. I mean, just going back to what I was talking about earlier, for them to be able to get that win with the amount of engagements that they were able to have, for only have to heal up 400, that is just so impressive. I feel like it's a big understatement. I'm hoping viewers at home will be able to keep an eye on that, because that just talks about their positioning. They're being able to put themselves once again just in a great spot, making sure they win those fights and making sure some other teams kind of don't even want to fight them. Nova just decided not to fight that, and I'm still kind of scratching my head. But another team I do want to talk about is Navi. I feel like Navi played that so well. They were nowhere near their usual landing spot towards North George. They decided to drop right there on the military, and they did a beautiful 2-2 split. A beautiful 2-2 split where we were wondering, I thought at one point maybe they were going to just try to go to the bridge camp. They decided not to, but they were able to hold off a lot of teams. They were able to be opportunistic to get some elims as well, and they were able to hold off damn son. Damn one. There you go.
Damn, son. That was
I know.
It was actually a really good hold, right? Because they had such a good high ground opportunity. While also, I believe it was maybe Tixie on the lower side. It was just trying to make sure that they were pinning down the entirety of Damwon. It was good execution, but unfortunately, that third party from Navi, from Nova actually, made it just a little bit more tricky at the end. But good execution still from Navi. Just got a little bit too hard there.
Yeah, a little bit difficult indeed, but they still have more matches either way. And before we can really drop into our next match, I want to give a shout out to Singtel, providing PMGC with Singapore's most powerful 5G network. And speaking of that, I mean, Navi, they're going to need that powerful 5G network because they have a lot of pressure on their shoulders. I'm going to call them out in particular. Seven, every time we ever talk about Navi going into these big international events, there's always so much hype around them. We always talk about how good they are as a team. And I'm sorry to say this, but they kind of always let us down.
I 100% agree with you.
Thank God, I didn't want people hating on me.
I disagree.
No. It's just always a big hype, and something that this team definitely lacks of, and this is something that we're kind of looking at before the show started, is this is a team that it's not really able to carry momentum really big. If they get a win, they're not able to.
Hi, what's up, guys? I'm back.
Or maybe able to back it up with the top 5. They're always, it's always
game time na to.
with them.
GTA 5 na lang, Von. Miss na namin yung gameplay mo. Actually, ako rin na miss ko na din. Totoo lang. Ay, so, nabawi ako sa inyo sa mga susunod na araw.
Would you say then for you, Navi is your team to watch in this match?
100%.
Magtayo ay
I
gameplay.
was really surprised at the way they were able to play that last match.
Okay, so we got Navi for 7 on the end. Seven, you're not 7, you're Max, man.
I'm 8.
Damn.
Yeah.
You're 8. Who's your team to watch?
Okay. I kind of gave up on 4 rivals when it comes to getting potential wins. But no, they're going to do it right now. They're going to make it happen. Okay? I don't know when, but I'm going to go with this.
Well, you're brave. I went with Stalwart Esports to see if they can maintain that momentum for the first match of the day. And speaking about maintaining things, we're going to maintain our casters here live, back on the air. Mustache Dave and Necro.
Alright, Miramar match. Let's go.
Son, already game number 2, dropping it on Necro. Dave on the mic. Miramar.
Let's see. Who's gonna win?
Forward.
Game 2.
Oh man, here we go. The Deserty lands a Miramar, and I do want to see what's going to be happening on such a massive map.
Ano, baka STE na naman to, pero gusto ko manalo dito. Team Secret, Navi, yan, yung mga yan. Okay, bumababa na dito agad ang Team FB. Aggressive talaga ang Team FG. Sorry, FG pala. Oh my goodness gracious. Painit na laban talaga ang pinapakita nila dito, mga kaibigan. Talagang papakitaan nila tayo ng mga iba't ibang klaseng gameplay.
That's a big one.
Ang gigigil ako kasi ito mga yan, dudurugin namin yan pag nagkaroon na tayo ng PUBG Pro Team sa Pinas.
this is now.
10 minutes pa lang tapos na ang laban, inubos na namin kayo.
So with that in mind, can a team realistically afford?
Alam mo yung player ko, si Laminsu.
Another team.
Siya lang mag-isa, ubusin niya lahat yan.
Potential of getting 0 points here. That's
Kaso cheater. Cheater si Lamin.
That's what got me thinking as well, because now we also know that you don't really have a
Evo,
lot of games to mess
Batalyones,
around with.
binabati
You cannot
kita,
just try out
Billionaire
some
number
new
1,
strats
yes sir.
completely, and then maybe, you know, try and work things out.
Okay,
But no,
nakalapag na
another
dito.
circle inside the map of Miramar. These are quite rare, Dave.
as rare as it gets. I'm just trying to soak it all in because we get circle number 1. There's some water in play, and yeah, this is Miramar. Go figure. But up there to the north, I'm still looking.
Na to, mga
We got
buddy.
SD, we got 4 rivals. S2G, like all these squads.
Uy,
are
magkatabi lang
still
sila ha.
hot
Team
topping on each
NGX,
other, essentially.
Team A7,
Oh, man,
magkakaharap
they won
dito
the
sa
early split.
compound.
And well, guess what? Yep, I'm pretty sure they will probably
Let's
get
see
the
kung
early
sino
split.
ang magwawagi
Unless if
sa
Nickel
labanan na
Galaxy
ito.
just do not want to give A7 what they want. A7, of course, is one of the most like aggressive teams out there, and they're not going to be backing out from a fight without any kind of like, you know, they would at least want some elim points on their name to start the day off. And A7, they are out for blood without a doubt. H2G for now in Hacienda del Patron. They have kind of full control of that side. So
Ito ang mga eliminated
seems like
points.
somewhere down line,
So far,
Godlike has backed out
nakaka-29
from
kills
there.
na ang Team STE.
Hit that
Grabe,
subscribe,
aggressive
by the
sila.
way.
Ang lupit.
Notifications on.
Team
That's,
STE ang pinakamalakas na kills so far, man.
You can get it done.
Oh
Shout
my
out to all the
goodness.
viewers, by the way. I was watching a ton of people watching right now, a ton of people cheering for Godlike in the YouTube chat, and a ton of people cheering for Stalwart Esports. So I'm looking at this game though. You're kind of touching on it. The redemption, like Alpha 7. I called Alpha 7. 7 called Alpha 7. Last game, couple elim points. We saw them on that bridge camp on that east side. Didn't really play out in their favor. And I'm looking at Alpha 7 because I feel like game number 2 needs to be their game to really come back, I want to say, get that momentum, those juices flowing so that they can play their confident play style that at least I'm used to seeing from them in that West League.
Exactly. I mean, if you talk about Alpha 7, the first thing that comes up in my mind is that aggression they show, and also the the consistency that Alpha 7 in general have, right? They're just like one of those teams that do not like to back away from the fight, but at the same time, they do manage to get a decent amount of points for themselves each and every single game. So, just quite understandable. Alpha 7, this is what they're known for. But I do want to see what exactly, like, what kind of things are going on for Godlike over here, because we did not see them in Hacienda del Patron.
Godlike, I'm not gonna lie. Last game, I was extremely impressed with that grenade from Jonathan.
Oh,
Jonathan went for a nice little rotate to wrap around their teammates to kind of get that off angle, while 3 of their squad mates were in the front lines, kind of taking that fight with Alpha 7. They did an okay job, but then you had Carrillo in the back lines playing Overwatch, and Carrillo was really able to put a stop to that push over that little ledge. And so all that pressure was on Jonathan, and with all that being said, Jonathan did come out on top, in my opinion, in that very challenging situation. So Godlike, man, Godlike have a ton of people cheering for him. They're at the biggest stage right now. They got a lot to prove. They got some teammates that do have that world experience, I believe the desk was talking about. If there was kind of that wild card to disrupt the lobby, let me get your take on this. I feel like it's Godlike, right? Godlike can't be that disruption to lobby. And the reason I'm saying that is because we had East League and we had West League. 9 teams from East League, they're playing here. 6 teams from West team, from West League, they're playing here. So those teams are kind of familiar with each other.
Kaninong team ba kayo dito?
They kind of know
Kasi
each other's
STE sobrang
habits
powerful
somewhat.
na nila eh.
So they have a
So ako
big
dito,
advantage
Team
when it comes
Navi
to
ako or
who
Team
they don't know
Infinity.
the habits of. They don't
Tsaka
know
Team
the habits
Secret,
of
tatlong
Godlike.
ang
Yeah, you could have
aking,
watched them, you know,
grupo
but you
dito.
don't have that in-game experience against Godlike. So I
Team
really
Secret,
feel like Godlike can be that wild card
tsaka
factor
Navi.
with some of these teams.
Malakas to mga yan eh.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just that one game slipping out of hands, it's fun, you know. You can completely afford that one game. But as you mentioned, Godlike can definitely be that wild card factor. And if they are, it's going to be one of the one of the biggest storylines
So far,
without a
wala
doubt.
pang may
Godlike,
first
they
kill.
dropped over here. They did not want any kind of early fight, so I do like the improvisation coming in from their side. Water treatment is where they opted to drop out. So HTG as well, early rotations. A lot of teams, they do not want to waste any kind of time. And Godlike, we are seeing them make those late game rotations happen, which is quite questionable. Most of the times they don't really work out, but maybe they have some kind of backup plan building through.
Not that, just looking at BGIS, Godlike, they tend to favor when they get into these skirmishes, kind of a 3-1 split where they got one of their teammates up in the front lines, really keeping that pressure on. Meanwhile, they separate their other 3 teammates to cover that one squad mate in the front line. So they got all angles pretty much covered. And I feel like that's kind of one of those new metas
Team
that we're starting to
Navi.
see.
Yes,
Alpha
sir.
7 kind of did that a
Akin
little
po
bit
Team
in
Secret,
the West
aba?
League.
Pare-parehas
It paid
pala
off
tayo
big
ng
time
team, ah.
for them. So I'm really
Pare-parehas,
cheering
ah.
for Godlike and
Ayan,
just
sila
their
naman, Godlike
overall
sila.
momentum that I have to assume they're feeling right now. They have to
Team
be
Godlike
pumped
naman.
to be playing in this lobby. So
sir.
Miramar, okay, let's get into the game. Looking at all the players, we didn't lose anybody yet. So that's a good sign for the players here. Almost, 7 minutes into the game. A lot of early rotates. Anything sticking out to Necro? Anything that Necro sees is like, oh man, what's happening there? Or is this all things, another day at the office, big chilling?
I mean, one more classic thing that I'm seeing, Navi again going for those late game rotations. This is what we're really known for. But yeah, as you were talking about that 3-1 split, now it's pretty good when it comes to the individual team fights, right? But if you get third party, now we casted the West Side, Dave, and we do know how many third parties happen in West Side. And 3-1 split, I feel like they're most vulnerable, especially when a third party happens. Especially if you have the one player separated out in the open, if he gets taken out, the rest 3 players, they're also kind of separated out from each other. And if you get third party in that situation, Dave, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, somewhat. And to me, it comes down to map
Godlike, eto na ang Godlike.
knowing the terrain and knowing what sidelines
kung
you might be
ibubugan nila dito.
exposed to, right?
8
Not only
minutes
that,
on the game, mga
spacing
buddy.
in between your
8
split.
minutes
As
na.
long as your spacing isn't too far from each other, for example, to add to your
Pwede
point,
nalaro ko pa
if
ba
one of your
ng
teammates
GTA?
gets knocked
Yes,
down,
lalaro tayo.
as long as that spacing
Babawi ako sa
isn't
inyo.
too far, you should be able to get the pickup, right? If you are safe to do so, of course. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And Godlike, just watching BGIS, a lot of the fights that they were in, they were aware of the terrain. They took these nice fights when they would push out in the open, where they knew for a fact what angles were covered, which angles weren't covered, and if those angles weren't covered, they had a teammate covering it for them, if you get what I'm saying here. So Godlike, I'm telling you, I'm a big fan of Godlike. I am really happy that they made it here, and I think they could really disrupt this lobby.
Dude, I myself am a huge fan of Godlike. You know what they say, hashtag they'll say Godlike.
Parang feeling ko
and that's what
malakas
I'm
ang
gonna
mga
say as
Godlike,
well.
ah.
But yeah, for now, the circle shift as well, kind of going to be moving down south again. A little bit
stage
tilted on the
na.
right side, which is completely
Oh,
fine.
man,
That means
sa
there is
baba
going to
ng
be a
mapa,
lot
mga
of free
buddy.
compounds for other teams to try and
Sa
take
baba
it.
po ng
But yeah,
mapa.
now, as you were also talking about the kind of separation, you should not really be separated from each other a little too much. And I feel like for that is a perfect example has to be Stalwart Esports. I just like how they adapt in each and every single fight, right? It's not like they don't separate a little too much in these fights. It's like they do that, but if only they have clear knockout easy. Like if they're sure that they're going to be getting this knockout, then only they will make that huge separation happen. Unless they just try to keep themselves separated, but not too much.
Yeah, Stalwart Esports, another prime example that we saw last game. Every time we would look at them, they either had a 2-2 split or they had a 3-1 split with action in the front line. And that reminded me a lot. We saw it, not to be too biased here, but from North America, when Coach got invited onto the Knights, that was exactly what they did, and that played out big time for him up to a certain point. But Stalwart Esports do the same thing here with action. You got that front line gunner, the one that seals the deal. Just make sure that they stay alive. Not only that, but top.
Oh, patay! Oh my God!
But talking about opening up these engagements, yeah, Nox
First blood!
Dude, did you see that tracking right there? Well, that's
Dude,
dirt nap out here.
If I am the player dying right there, I'm saying
He's
I'm yelling.
down one.
I'm yelling. There's no way.
Napatayin niya.
That's just me if I'm playing the game.
Oh, damn, son. That's what I'm yelling. If I get taken out like that, like they were full pedal to the metal there.
Oh, my God.
What a nice shot there. And this is Fenerbahce. Last game, we saw them. They got heated. They got crashed upon. Didn't work
Oh,
out
my
in their favor.
body.
And if they would have won that
Alam
fight,
mo
they
yun,
would've
nagdadrive ka lang
came out
sa
big
matay
time
ka.
because that compound was solid. So a lot of these teams, they're
Oh,
looking for
yun.
that redemption, I feel like, in game number 2. All these teams are top-notch. They all have the skill. They made it here. They're here for a reason. But, of course, you
Ayan
don't
na,
want to get 0 points
nagkakabakbakan
in
na
the
mga
game.
buddy.
So I'm really looking for these bottom teams
Nasipat
to
dito.
perform here in this match to really get it going.
Oh, dude. Nexria, one of those teams, they won the West League, dude. Completely surprising all of us. And I do want to see now what Nexria they are going to be doing in the grand finals as well. We've been talking quite a lot about all these other teams. Nexria, one of those teams, I feel like we need to talk about them a little bit more, having players like Frozen underneath your sleeves. And
Godlike.
I'm going to hold on to my words for now. Again, Godlike being held at the bay.
Naku
And
po,
this is
naku
what I
po.
really do not like. Those
Oh,
late
man.
rotations do not work out most of the times. And Godlike, again, being held off at Bay. And this time, it's Stalwart
That's not
Esports
good.
doing
That's
the same
not-
thing.
that
But
is not
guess
good
what?
for Godlike.
It's going to be a little third party from
Come
the
on,
side of
come on.
Navi.
What are
And
you
of
gonna
course,
do?
it's the
What
West
are you
team
gonna
doing
do?
the third party.
Yeah, they're definitely going to lose one in this process. Godlike out there, but they're kind of catching a break because now Navi going to be applying that pressure to Stalwart. So it is what it is, as these teams going to be up here in the north trying to outrun the
Naku
blue
po.
zone, now closing in
Stole the
on them.
kill.
Stole the kill, but the
Patay
other
na.
3 teammates
Isa
of
sa
Godlike, they
Godlike.
were able to successfully get on out of harm's way. They're still in their vehicles. They're ready to react
Naku,
to
down
this
na
next
naman,
circle shift.
Godlike.
Oh, but no,
Nah.
as I said, Neo.
Godlike.
Godlike, this
No.
rotation, man, it isn't paying out in their
my.
favor right now.
Ayun pa naman
Late
yung
rotations,
ano,
I'm
gustong
telling you,
manalo ng mga
It's
ano
really
dito,
hard
dito.
to get those down. Blood rotations most of the times do not really work out, but for now, Navi, they're looking pretty good. Another one of those teams that do like to rotate pretty late, but in the previous Erangel game, I did like the
Sayang.
adaptive nature from their side. I did like it was kind of like a huge change in the pace that we
Ayun
saw.
na, Navi, let's
from
see
how
if
Navi
he's gonna
played back in the
get this
day,
kill.
but now Stalwart
Woo,
Esports,
too
that's a
close,
huge
too
spray from
close,
top.
too
Connect
close.
quite a lot of shots, but
Naku
it
po,
tries
naku po,
to
mapapatay pa ata.
really going against STG.
Okay.
And the kill feed, but
Too
oh
close,
my
too
god,
close.
Kitsune barely made it on the other side of the edge.
Okay,
And look
napatay
at the
dito.
different
ng
play styles
ST.
here. Navi, they see the next circle shift and they prioritize sending it, trying to get a better position in that circle.
Yes,
Meanwhile,
sir.
Stalwart, they aren't worried, right? They're playing this one slow, they are relaxing, and they were able to get a couple shots out there on that Navi rotate. And it just goes to show, at least to me, the confidence right now that Stalwart, that they have the ability to play slow, that they're not going to let these zones kind of dictate their movement. They're not going to let these zones apply pressure on the bigger picture gameplay here, game plan that is, that they are coming in here with.
Oh, dude, the game plan, as you mentioned, they're also going to be rolling out some like secret cards, I'm pretty sure, on the day too, and I cannot wait for that. But yeah, Team Secret now, my closest players of HTG. There was a fight going on between Dom1 Gaming
Namiss ko yung
and
G, thank you
HTG.
po. At the same time, GTA
Couple of
din.
casualties.
Gerald
We did witness
Bonifacio,
those as
buddy,
well.
kamusta?
Dom1 Gaming as well, short one player. Same thing goes
Nabati
with
na, buddy.
H2G. Team Secret. Do you realize in the front there is a team?
FX
They're
na,
also
bro.
taking things quite slow.
Okay.
Stalwart Esports again.
Buddy,
They're
FX na
just
ba?
tailing Navi
Thank you,
around.
Sentimental tapos
Action.
split.
Down there. Oh,
Oh.
Tixie able to. Oh, look at that tracking, by the way. The gyro right there from action.
Okay, nagkakalaban na
But yeah,
po dito
I
ang
guess
ST
Stalwart
versus
Esports, you can also
Navi.
say they're a little more
Paborito
comfortable in this
grupo, man.
situation when I'm talking about that
Inamin.
pressure from the zones, because they do have 29 points from last game. We can see the leaderboard right there on that right-hand side compared to Navi with 1 elim point from this game, so they're going to have 8. So that mental game, man, it is going to play a factor here for a lot of these players and their decision-making for sure.
Mental game, always an important factor.
Almost. Okay, let's see.
Big tournaments like
Okay,
this, and
that's
Action
napatay.
just trying to blow Tixie's weakle. Pushed out of tires, so Tixie now will have to move out in the open.
Down, Navi. Navi, down ng isa. I mean, dalawa na.
Tixie
Sheesh,
goes
ay,
down.
grabe talaga
Tixie
yun na.
eliminated out the
Grabe
game. That's
talaga
not
yung
really good
ST,
news for
bakit
Navi.
ganon?
Navi left with only 2 players alive.
And you can just see the concentration right there on top space
Oh
as
my
well.
God,
I think I
dude.
saw a little sweat drip
Okay,
from their
let's see kung
forehead
saan
right
yung
there.
map.
Like, that is
Oh,
how
what?
tunnel vision they are. I love the
Grabe.
player cams, by the way. I love that we get to see
Grabe
their
yung
looks. I
mapa,
love
man.
that we get to see their grips that they're using. And just that determination. Next zone goes up, so hopefully they're a little more determined because they are on the opposite end. So Stalwart Esports, they are going to have the challenge to reposition now in this new circle that did once again favor the south and favor the water.
Oh, did you see the split from Infinity as well inside the zone? They had like all 4 players separated out, and as soon as they realized next 3 is closing in, they just retreated back. Now they have 2-2 split.
16 minutes in the game, mga buddy.
Acquired
Uy,
by
gulo.
Infinity, and Infinity have the prime positioning inside the zone,
Team Secret,
including Nigma
ayan.
Galaxy. Now, they can
Nasa
try
side
and
po
play
sila
this,
na,
play this off as safe as possible, or else
ang ganda
they
ng
can
pwesto
try and rack
dito
up some kill points
ng
and
Team
try to
FG.
make it inside the zone.
Naku,
Team Secret, though,
nasa
pretty
side na
close to
dito.
Furious Gaming.
Team Secret,
But I
naku,
guess I'm
merong
gonna say
isang...
Poppy Potro is pretty close to Team Secret.
Naku po, alam na nila.
Yeah, there was a
close.
player that can really clutch
Nice
this one out.
shot!
Pocho is that
Oh,
player
there we go.
popping up with
1
that
versus
UMP.
4, 1
Surprise!
versus
Exactly
4.
what they're
Mga
saying.
kaibigan,
What I want to see now
also.
is some type of support though from the back lines. Maybe send 1 teammate down there in the front lines to help support Poppy Pocho, but it looks like the 3 teammates are going to remain up there in the hills playing that oversight position.
Pare.
Oh, they're just the scouts right now. They're just giving so much information to Poppy Potra. They're kind of like they're
Naku
his
po, ayan na.
eyes
Naku,
behind the
yayariin
sidelines.
siya.
But
Naku,
look at
babawian na
Jumper
talaga dito.
recognizes what
Babawian
angles
na
are
talaga siya
currently
dito.
gonna be
Naku po,
occupied.
mamatay
He
na.
knows for a fact that the
man.
south, the wall is going to be the perfect cover. And Furious Gaming, the 3 teammates on the hills, they don't have sightlines behind that hill. And Poppy Procho, well, got caught slipping.
And HDG, they're just like, all right, don't mind us, guys. We're just making our way through. We're peaceful. We're friendly. Just got some free pass, safe pathway.
Pinatay niya yung tropa
out
niya
of
eh.
that
Ganda ng laban, men.
situation.
Ibang klase.
Yeah, now again,
Yung mga
Furious Gaming,
galawan
they have
po
one
talaga
man
nila,
down.
pang
Poppy Potra's
tournament
huge
talaga.
man, and you do want to make sure he's back on his feet. Download Gaming. Seems like they're charging up on DX Xavier. Lamborghini's position, is it compromised? That's the question. And I'm pretty sure it has to be at this point in time. Fabian just cooking up an aid. Wants to lob it right outside. And yep, it's just Stalwart Esports as well, rolling out on the sidelines, but I'm not really sure. I don't think so they're going to be challenging a fight.
No, they're zooming back. They're looking to reposition. They're looking to get into the circle.
Let's see.
DX Xavier,
Hey, ito na,
against the
DX
wall.
versus
2
DWG.
squad mates right there trying to defend this
my
compound
goodness.
up against 3.
Duck in the back, knocked out. Not a good news. Not a good news at all.
They do have the ability to play this one a little slow, but not too slow, because look at the circle shift. This fight is not in the next zone. And looks like Frankie gonna be popping in that Bucky trying to reposition. That could be risky. But Silence! Oh, Silence! I saw Silence cooking the grenade right there, trying to toss that one out onto Pika, but Pika did not allow that to happen. Hopefully they can pick up Action though, because look at this, Action crawling on their knees, but Action has that M249. The squad wiper, so that can come in clutch. Next zone, once again, Nigma Galaxy. They picked that compound on the coast, and look at this. I have a feeling it's gonna play out in their favor, because where else can it go? Not only that, it's on a main road, so you have to assume some teams, they might rotate on that main road for quick access. And look at that. Yes, they do get the circle shift. So Nigma Galaxy easily looking at a top 5 if they can defend their compound.
Oh, they're chilling. They're chilling big time. Unless they're just going to be witnessing a huge wave of teams coming in out of their compound, just trying to ram their vehicles right onto it.
Wala na
I'm
ang
pretty
Team
sure that's going to be
STE.
happening in the future.
Naku, eliminated na ang
For
Team
now,
Navi,
DX
guys.
Frankie
Eliminated
being
na.
taken out. Lamborghini's the man.
Oh, no.
And certainly,
Oh, no.
this time is not as quick as his name. Instead, taking things a little
It's not
slow.
good.
Being as cautious as possible. Popping that medkit as well. It's taking down to 70% of HP. And Lamborghini, I do understand the only man alive has a lot of pressure, but guess what? Strikes at the right time.
DWG, wala na rin.
Solo here on Miramar, you got a lot of dips, you got a lot of terrain to work with to try to avoid any type of sightline. So maybe they could solo snake it and come out on top with some additional placement points. Fenerbahce out there in the distance. They are going to have to reposition here very shortly. Parabor, though, look at that. Another teammate on the field. M249 out there in the open, looking to get some nice shots on out. Well, Lamborghini did reposition. They saw the water, and they said, YOLO, sending it straight to the water. That's a good play, though. I like that play a lot.
That is indeed kind of like the safest route you can take inside these kind of zones. But A7 looking to take out the man in the close. And it's going to be Couture from Nextruya. Easily being taken care of. A7 now, they also need to make it inside the zone. So the pathway in the front is going to be a little exposed, but it's fine. They've got the vehicles covering their back. Senatex and Mafioso, they're going to be making their way slowly inside the zone. Infinity as well, as I mentioned, they had a really great positioning until the zone moved away from them. But still, they can try and hold up the teams that are in the back, including Nova. But Jimmy's the only man alive.
Oh man, eto na.
Pretty solid position though. All
Shit,
things
agawa na ng
considered.
pwesto. Team
A little
STE,
bit
isa
of
na
it
lang
is
po,
in the
eliminated
next
na.
circle, and we saw they have those different levels of terrain
Eliminated
to work with,
na rin
so as
tong
long as they can make sure nobody
FG.
surprises them from
Eliminated
behind,
na rin ang Team
they should be looking
SE.
ahead, looking down.
Pero
as
STE
long as they have
still
some vehicles to
standing,
maybe
mga
work with,
kaibigan. Oh my
they
goodness.
are looking pretty solid in my opinion, especially with 4 up.
Oh, they are looking really solid.
Team Secret. Naku po, nakakanib ang Team Secret dito.
Oh
no, eliminated na rin.
For sure.
Wow.
Even though they're hurt, they're not down yet. They're still giving a huge fight to all these teams in the lobby. 2 players alive. Shot should be back up on his feet in no time. A7 for Rio taken out. That's not going to be keeping A7 settled.
Okay,
they
Team
need
STE.
to make sure Korea's going to be back up on his feet. And next Rio is the one trying to hold him off.
At NGX po ang naglalaban dito. Let's see. Oh man, he's dead.
Charges forward,
Nice
and he's
try.
getting taken care of.
Nice try.
Yeah, charging downhill like that. No real option because the next zone did shift. So
What is
that
this
pressure.
circle?
Yep, that pressure
my
just
God.
added on top of that one. So Mafioso
Okay, so
happy after
last
that
4
elim,
team
looking to loot some
is
crates,
standing,
looking to
ladies
get
and
some
gentlemen.
additional
So
meds,
yung dalawang
re-up on the
ating
ammo, then pretty much
grupo na
reposition to send a text
gustong
up,
manalo, nandito
who
men,
I believe
Team
has a
Secret
pretty
at Team
solid
Infin.
snaking position out there.
Ang
on
problema
that road.
lang,
As long as they can
Team
avoid the
NGX
sightlines
is
from Enigma Galaxy,
meron
have
silang
been, we have to
advantage.
say, they have
Big
been
advantage.
Big chilling this whole game. What a
Yes.
position they called out, and
Yung Team
what a
NGX,
position
man. Apat
they
pa sila eh.
claimed early on here.
Exactly, but I don't like the split coming in from Raouf. All the way separated out. I understand it's a
Apat
3-1
pa
split,
sila,
but
man.
still, in these kind of moments, you're
Naku po,
not
aba,
supposed to separate
nag-swimming.
out, and that's what exactly
Pucha,
I was
MGX
saying.
Radolf oh.
Because soon
Nag-swimming.
there might be a lot of
Naku po,
charges. and
nagkakaputukan na dito sa
Raouf does have
tubig.
the buggy underneath
Naku
the
po,
water.
Team
Oh,
Secret
spot,
patay
taking a lot of
yung
shots.
isa.
Oh, no. Steps out the
Oh,
buggy,
ayan
but
na,
they can time it.
Infin.
Here comes a charge
Infin,
from
oh
their
my
side as well.
goodness. Nagkakaputukan na sa tubig, mga kaibigan.
Taken out here because to me that's like the insurance policy. You send
Naku,
one
bakit
into the
sila
water because you
nagtatalunan
know
sa
water's to play,
tubig?
and you make sure that they stay alive.
Oh my
Meanwhile,
goodness
use your
gracious.
numbers to your advantage. See, we need to see Freak. We need to see Lord. We need to see them be
Naku.
putting in that pressure
Isa na
to
lang
make
yung
sure that
Infin.
insurance
Patay ang
policy in the
Infin.
water does stay alive.
Why?
No.
And they were able to
Why?
pull that off here.
Okay, NGX,
Not anymore.
3
Insurance
teams
policy.
remaining. Men, maling-mali
taken
yung
away
galaw
from
na ganun. Kaki, bakit kayo
Unfortunate team
pumunta
secret,
sa...
but still,
Why?
Enigma Galaxy, they have the man advantage inside
Wala
this
silang
entire
cover sa tubig
situation,
eh.
and they can always turn it
I don't
into
know,
a
bro.
victory.
Anong ginawa ng Infin?
Unless, again, they don't make any kind of rookie mistakes. Team Secret, Shot's the only man alive, but
Naku po,
all it takes is that
kawawa
one
Team
little
Secret
mistake, and
dito.
Shots will get a huge chance to try and bounce back.
Oh, man.
Another huge game too when we're talking elim points for these top teams.
Kawawa naman yung Team
up
Secret
7,
dito.
I
Nag-iisa
saw
na lang siya.
7 elim points. Enigma Galaxy.
Oh, no,
8
papasukin
elim
na
points.
siya.
So they were able to really use that position, that
man.
compound in their favor. As Lord gonna be pulling up
Ayun
here.
na yung
Grenade cooking it,
Granada.
looking to toss
Let's
it.
see.
Let's
Ooh,
see, will it be
what?
successful? Oh, Freak also
Wow.
into
No,
water.
not
I
good.
don't-
Oh,
I don't
man.
know
Oh,
about
man.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Oh,
Yeah,
my
that's a
God.
cool play from Enigma Galaxy.
Na
I don't know why
alanganin
they
pa
did
po.
that.
Oh, GG,
Trying their
GG.
best to
Tayo
take
na
off
ang Team
shots, and
Secret
finally,
natin.
a naked
So, this is a
next
2
on
versus
Shots.
2 situation, mga
Invasion
buddy.
got him, a huge
Ang ganda
spot
nito,
without
man.
a doubt, but now it's
2 versus 2 situation.
A7, they thrive in
Let's
these
see,
moments.
A7 or Team NGX kanino? Kanino itong panalo na to?
So he gets shot from the SLR. Now, just think about it. If they would have kept Freak alive, they would have had a 3v2 right now. But instead, Freak went into the water. Don't know why.
Oh my
Now they're
God.
down to
Oh!
just a 2v2.
No,
and
that's
this is
not a
Mafioso
good idea.
And send a text up
Oh, ino mo,
to the most
nagsipag-coach
consistent
yun.
players from the West League.
Oh, using that bus as a movie cover as well. I do like what
Mga
Movie's
nagsipa-
trying to do
naku
here,
po,
but
naku
if
po.
Enigma Galaxy played things a little
Pero
bit
eto,
more safer,
A7,
would be the outcome.
gumagapang sa Genji,
They're
mga
taking
kaibigan.
down, they're
Grouped
too low.
up.
Yeah, as you mentioned, 2 grouped up. There needs to be a little
Naku
separation.
po.
There needs to be a little bit more
Naku
info
po.
gathering, and I do like what A7 are doing. Senatex are trying his best to give as much as visual info as
Eto na,
possible to
eto na,
Mafioso.
igagranada na. Let's see.
Sneaking around
Boom!
the bridge, making
Muntik
sure
na.
his presence
Muntik
isn't
na.
being sensed by Enigma Galaxy.
Exactly. Senatexa has that hard cover. Senatexa trying to keep these sidelines to make sure Enigma Galaxy stay pinned down. Meanwhile,
Ayan na ang
Mafioso
granada!
quietly sneaking up within
Kobe!
range.
Boom! Puchang gala, GG! Alright, 1 versus 1 situation. Oh no! Ayan na, naku po. Kaso nagkotse, hindi sa 1 versus 1 situation, mga bate. Ito na! Ito na! Guys, manood kayo. Who is gonna win this game? Who is gonna win this game?
Those close range combat, Senatexa is not gonna fall back. The problem is more HP favoring him, and he is trying to back up, but Senatexa is so aggressive in these moments.
GG, Team A7
on the final man of Enigma Galaxy.
Chicken dinner for the game 2.
Let's
Man.
go. Hey, did I just see you try to drop shot
Grabe yung nangyayari.
Nah.
Oh my God.
Alpha
A7, congrats sa A7.
7. Winner, chicken dinner
Woohoo!
in game number 2. And I gotta
GG.
say, that split at the end, Senatexa covering the position from the high ground.
Winner.
Mafioso trying to
Chicken
get within grenade
dinner.
range, find that little dip. That was the game-winning play here. So, huge congrats to them, but also congrats to Enigma Galaxy. Ton of kills, ton of placement points as well, Necro.
Sayang.
Dude, insane game, insane game. 10
Pero
and
last,
1 from the
awesome.
side of A7. Enigma Galaxy as well. Some rookie mistakes being made,
Lagi sinasabi ni
honestly.
Kuya
When
Von
they
dati
had
na
that one
dapat
man being
laging
taken out
positive.
from
Yes
that
sir,
split, as
dapat
you
lagi
mentioned,
lang
the
positive,
insurance.
di ba? Alam niyo
If
naman
when it
yan.
got taken away from them, I feel like they should have at least tried to
Grabe
like stay to group up a little bit, but they
Ganda
should have
ng
also
laban.
had a little bit of sensible
klase.
split between them.
Ibang
Well, it
klase.
is what it is. That was only
It is
game
what it
number
is.
2. Miramar, ladies and gentlemen,
Yes, sir.
don't go anywhere. Let's hear what the analysts have to say about that game.
Well, you better not go anywhere because we have a lot to say about that last match. Thank you very much, Necro and
Grabe
Mustache
yun.
Dave, for covering that one. I can already see out of the corner of my eye 7 extremely happy about Alpha 7 taking home a chicken dinner, taking home a good amount of eliminations, but also for Senatexa, he played last year here at PMGC,
Yes,
or
sir.
first year at PMGC, PMCO,
Hi, guys.
Fall Split Global Finals. Let me get
I'll
the
be
entire
back.
name out there.
Shit,
He played
quick-
back
quick
then,
comfort
and
room
he's
break.
shown he's got what it takes
Toilet
to
break lang
compete,
ako,
he's got
ha?
what it takes to get them victories.
He's been
Hey,
one
back,
of the
guys.
most veteran
I'll be
players
back.
out of the Americas, and I mean, he's showcasing it. He's actually continuing to improve. He's not just being stagnant, he's been able to improve. He's now becoming a clutch player, as we were able to see right there for this team. And I mean, this is huge for Alpha 7, because if I'm not mistaken, in the next one, we're going to be going to Sandhawk, and there's going to be a lot of spicy stuff that we're going to be talking about in a bit. But for Alpha 7, I mean, I do hope they're able to carry that momentum. This is a team that's usually really well at carrying that momentum. If they're able to maintain that, it's going to be huge for them.
Yeah, I think especially you have some players that are very hesitant to go to that first-person mode towards the end there, but going into that FPP moment in that 1v1 was just clutch. In that smoke moment, you're going to have that information first, and you're instantly going to be able to get in that spray mode. Good execution from Senatexa, feeling confident towards the end to secure the win. That's what we want to see in those finishing moments.
Yeah, and also give a shout out to Enigma Galaxy, right? This team, we really kind of criticized a lot when it came to the league stage. They just really didn't seem to pick up a lot of eliminations. They mostly got their points early on was just placement points, but they get a lot of limbs here. They get second place as well. We'll take a look at the points they get here in just a few seconds, but this was a strong start for them as well here in match 2.
Yeah, I had a big question mark coming into this. Sure, they're Sanok, they show what they can do, but you only have 3 Sanok games, so I want to see if they can bring some consistency to the table on Miramar and also Erangel. They got 2 second places here. They're able to get 21 total points on this game, but once again, Alpha 7, able to get 10 eliminations, and it was not given right 7. They were consistently fighting onto the western side, creating opportunities, getting that high ground, and then pushing hard at the end was Mafioso trying to go for that flank. It was an interesting idea. Mafioso did go down, but man, they were fighting tooth and nail for that game.
It kind of worked out great that they were able to just switch one player from each other, right?
Yeah.
One got knocked, the other player got knocked too, so that helped out Alpha 7 in a huge way. And I love that Senatexa didn't just take the time to wait and see what happened. He just decided to push on the buggy and make sure he was able to get that chicken there. So that was really an impressive play out of Senatexa, and I mean, that shows why he is that veteran player out of Alpha 7. Another team I really want to talk about is Team Secret. I feel like the difference from what we saw in the first game to this game, it was night and day. I love the pushes they were able to do.
Yeah.
They seem more coordinated. They seem more working together, and it was just lovely to see. And they were able to finish off some of those fights without getting any of their players eliminated.
Yeah, in particular, I think Team Secret was super opportunistic in this game because this circle continuously going towards that ocean, like very rarely happens, by the way, on these map of Miramar. They were super opportunistic because you had all these teams. You had Stalwart, 628, Finad Batshit, Enigma Galaxy, you had also Nova that were all coming down in their position, and they picked up almost every single elimination on teams that were trying to make that rotation happen. So good on Team Secret, willing to take the fight when it comes their way.
Well, we can see here our overall rankings from our first 2 matches being played so far. And Stalwart Esports still maintaining that #1 position only by 3 points. But that's also a really good idea, or at least shows us a good thing about Nigma Galaxy. Haven't won a match, but they're still 2nd place. They're still ahead of Alpha 7, who didn't have a good first match. They're able to put up a consistent performance so far, and that's a great sign for this team.
We talked a lot, especially in the Eastern League, about how the Arabic region has been able to continuously improve, and potentially the region to improve the most, I would say, throughout the past year, and doing some big gestures because it's how impressive it's actually been for this team. And they've proven it here. If they can perform on the PMGC international stage, I think that they're really going to put the Arabic region on the map, and they've really done so in big fashion so far.
Speaking of big fashion, 7, don't worry, you'll talk in a second here. You guys can see the CD key for the PMGC token. It's getting ever so close to being finished off in this very first day. We can get yourself 1,200 tokens if you redeem it at pubgmobile.com/redeem. But also, we're already up to 800,000 viewers here. We got 200,000 to go, so tell your friends, tell your family, tell your significant others, maybe tell your pets as well if they do have a phone, hopefully for them a OnePlus. Tune in, because we're going to be giving away a lot of prizes for everyone else out there at home. 7, though, let's talk about it. Let's continue the conversation.
With this one, I mean, the team I actually want to talk about is going to be a little bit different with what we're talking about them in regards to Erangel. I'm going to be talking about Godlike. I noticed this is now the 2nd match that they decide to play the blue zone, and it's making it so they're not able to have any mistakes. If they have a mistake, they're going to be losing a player, whether it is by the damage of the zone that they're receiving, but they're not being actually allowed to create any rotations. I don't know if maybe they need to start moving in towards the circle a little bit faster, but so far, they got super lucky on that Erangel, right? With Jonathan being able to clutch up and being able to get those elims, but here in this last game in Miramar, it totally backfired too.
Yeah, I think you just need a little bit more time. We said it right. You need just a little bit more experience. I think this first day is going to be a little bit of test for them. Try and see if they're going to test the waters, see if they can potentially go for a playstyle that works. Blue, not working out so far for them so far, so we'll see if they can try and potentially adapt a little bit more in the next games to come.
I mean, there's still a lot of matches left to go. We still have 16 over the next 3 days, but you are running out of them, right? If you want to be the team coming in first place, win the $1.5 million, you can't really afford to have too many bad matches, but you're allowed to have the 1 or 2. And before we do even continue throughout the show, we have another recap coming up here in just a few seconds. Not sure again what team it's going to be quite just yet, but you know what? I'm probably going to assume it's going to be Alpha 7 since they won the whole thing there.
They have to be. I would be surprised if we actually not going to be talking about them. And another player I wanted to talk about with Alpha 7, Carrillo. We were actually able to see him there. It got super close to the point where he got knocked, and this is something that we were talking about before this show, Max. It was how they are so used to just sending out Carrillo to scout for them because he's usually one of the main fraggers for that team, right? But it can also backfire because if he gets caught in a peculiar situation, you're going to be losing a player of the caliber of Carrillo. Luckily for them, that didn't happen in the last match.
Yeah, we were a little bit scared, potentially them using Korea could hurt their chances of getting these big wins pretty significantly. But the cool thing is that now Cinetexa has that fragging potential, right? And he has been coming in clutch, especially in that finish going in that
you know what?
mode. So don't need any carry. You can have the rest of the team carry.
They might look small there on that mini map, but they're big players in game here. As we are taking a look at Mafioso, as we were talking about before as well. Some early fights happening for Alpha 7. And again, for this team, I mean, I think there's a lot of pressure on the shoulders being the best team throughout this entire year from Brazil. We talk about Stalwart Esports being the team from Mongolia, but this team also has that same kind of pressure on their shoulders, and can they live up to it? Well, I mean, we're seeing they're starting to do so, and they're able to do quite well in 3rd place.
Yeah, I mean, and not even Brazil is actually, sorry, I'm going to go back to Alpha 7, is actually their best team from the Americas. They were definitely the most consistent team out of the Americas.
Destroyed
Americas. It wasn't even close. So that's what a lot of people are looking towards this team, to seeing how they're going to be performing towards the East. Because in Americas, as I do cover that area, everybody just looks at the East teams like they're just godly. They cannot be touched. But now, I mean, for Alpha 7 to be able to get this chicken dinner here in the 2nd match is going to be huge for them.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And we're actually going to be seeing the exact execution towards the end of that game. It was Cinetexa, it was Mafioso. Cinetexa, towards that end moment there, waiting onto the backside and trying to allow his teammate, which is Mafioso, to actually get a little bit closer in. So I think that position, going for that 1-1 split, was perfectly executed. Those smokes were greatly played from Nigma Galaxy, but when you get close, you just throw a few nades, and that's pretty much done and dusted. Mafioso, unfortunately, does get knocked, but then it turns to the 1v1, and then that great FPP play from Cinetexa was just clutch at the end.
And that's what I was talking about. Cinetexa wasted no time in making sure he went for that push. As soon as Mafioso was already getting knocked down, Cinetexa went for it. And right here, this is something that you were talking about, and I personally use it when I play PUBG Mobile myself, Max, is I like to switch to that FPP view, especially in this close quarter, because it's just going to give you such a huge advantage. As you can see right there, Cinetexa being able to clutch up, and he is becoming that clutch up player, which is great. We've been talking about teams having just more than one superstar. Alpha 7 is looking like they have a deep roster.
I did also like how Mafioso was kind of off towards the side there, right? On the other side of the road. The information he gains, even while being knocked, is so good for Senatexa to be able to capitalize off that position, take home the victory, and get them one step closer to that $1.5 million. Now, I'm not going to be too harsh here.
Oh, no.
4 rivals you had as a team to watch, right? How did they do?
I mean, it was Alpha 7. I mean, they're too good. Come on. Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the main issue that we have with 4 rivals. They get close to a potential good position, and then I have the impression they stress in some way, shape, or form, and they just unfortunately have a complete blunder. Happen once again here versus Alpha 7, and they are a team that needs to have structure. You give them structure, they could potentially get wins, but it's just not happening yet.
I mean, we've seen good things out of them, to be fair, but they were always that team that couldn't close out matches, and when you want to be the top of the table, right, you have to be able to close out matches. You can't be really good at placements. You can't be just really good at eliminations. You have to have that great marriage. You got to get down that one knee, pop the ring on, pop the question, and be able to pull that off if you want to be able to win $1.5 million. But a team who wants to win $1.5 million is actually going to be Stalwart Esports. To start off the day strong, and luckily for us, we do have an interview coming up with them in just a second.
Hello from Singapore, the PUBG Mobile Global Championship, of course, the grand finals. With me now from Stalwart Esports. Hello, Action, right here.
What's up, my buddy?
Hello, hello. We've got, of course, coach and translator and manager here.
Dito
Good
mga
to see
ating
you.
mga pro players.
Thank you for being here.
Wow,
A few quick questions, a
wow.
quick fire round. You guys have been very competitive in the first 2
I'm
games.
back, guys.
How did you prepare for the grand finals?
STE, sila yung mga STE.
Тэгээд Grand Final юу бэлдсэн бэ?
Okay, mga STE pala, STE players pala to.
Тоглолтынхан юу тактикийг бол ер нь хийж болохгүй. Тэгээд бид нар энэ тэмцээн дээр ер нь хамт чадхаараа үзээд заавал чемпион болохыг гэж байна.
Okay, he say he not want to tell the tactic of our game.
Of course.
But he say we can try our best for coming to champion.
Now, you guys also played well in the league stage. So in your opinion, what's the biggest difference between the grand finals and the league stage so far?
Okay, so league stage-ийн тоглолт нь одоо ингээд league stage grand final хоёрын тоглолтын ялгаа нь юундаа байна гинэ.
League stage-ийн
Mga ganun lagi.
Ер нь grand final нь дэлхийн бүх шийдвэрүүд ингэж хэлж болно доо.
He say it's different because grand final is all the team in the world, 29, the best team in the world. So league stage is only for
Kevin Sangagala, nag-share na ako.
This is the biggest difference.
That's right, of course, the sizing of the teams. Now, when it comes to the championship, who do you think is your biggest competitor? I'd love to know as well.
Okay. Энэ тэмцээний хамгийн том өрсөлдөгч нь юу вэ гинэ?
Nasaan yung ano mo?
Хамгийн том өрсөлдөгч гэвэл бид нар өөрсдөө юм уу та. Өөрсдөө даваад энэ тэмцээнд авраг болоод гэртээ бахархалтайгаар арихыг хүсэж байна ер нь.
He say all team is the best, all team is good, but the real adversary for us is ourselves. Because in the game we can have so many errors, but this is for ourselves.
Yeah.
Because you can have so many errors, and if we don't have some error, it's good, and we can take the trophy of PMG.
Hindi, ano pa, nag-break time pa nila, kaya matagal pa yung laro.
And thank you for being here. Thank you very much. Let's say a big hello and goodbye from Singapore.
Hello, and hopefully not goodbye for too long here. Great to hear from them, actually, talking to Action and who their biggest opponent was themselves.
That's deep.
That is deep. I know. So, and you brought this up when we were watching the interview, Max, because you did reach out to them and they told you it was a different team, right? Originally?
Yeah, they said it was Alpha 7 because of their main drop on Pubg.
Cheetah naman din, panoorin muna natin ito saglit, guys.
The DPS fights and everything is insane.
Tapos
You definitely want to look out for that
sa
type of game. But yeah, Alpha
mga
7 is also their big competitor from the western side.
But
And
maybe.
could happen.
Maybe after they see Alpha 7 play, they're like, they're not that big of a deal. Eh?
Nah, they're gonna drop each other.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see if they're gonna drop each other in just a few moments. We're gonna head to a short break here and get things ready for our third match of the day.
Maganda to. Next up, next game natin, 5 minutes pa mga buddy. 5 minutes break. Okay guys, manood muna tayo ng mga promo vid ng PUBG, ay? Enjoy guys.
Every second victorious, can't stop me. Maybe today we'll fight our best, show you the way if you can't handle it, you follow me.
I'm back with a plan, start with the pinnacle, I be the man. Back to the battle, the last man standing. Who would have thought that I had what it takes? With the whole city on my shoulder going crazy. Back to the pub and the keep in the G. Victory lap on the ride with the team. Stay good sport and smoke with the E. Aim for the high score, really got me going.
BMGC 2021
Grand Finals.
Grand Final.
Grand Finals.
Grand Finals.
To glory.
To glory.
To glory.
To glory.
And we are back. We told you it wasn't going to be too long of a break, and it wasn't indeed. And we're ready to get into our next match of the day as things are to get very moist on...
I love that word.
He loves the word. It used to freak him out, but he loves it now. I'm glad to hear that, Max. But things are going to get really interesting when we get over to Sandhawk for multiple reasons, right? We have potential hot drops.
Yep.
But also, if we look back on East, we've had so many, or two teams in particular, be so consistent in how they play, but also their style. Enigma Galaxy, Maroof, Heal in the blue. Infinity, just place top 3 every time, because that's what they seem to always do.
Yeah, it's the Infinity playstyle coming in onto this one, right? But the one we want to talk about especially is going to be that hot drop.
Yes.
That hot drop is going to be insane. It's going to be going through in boot camp. It's going to be Alpha 7. It's going to be Star Wars. 2 teams that currently both got a win right now, and they're going to fight it out super early in that game. And in the scrims, they made it happen. It got close a lot of the times. Who's going to come out on top? I don't know right now.
Which gun was it? Which gun was it?
It was the DBS.
Yes.
You know it. It's DBS fight in boot camp. Hell yeah. That's all.
I mean, the thing is, right? Do you legitimately think we're gonna have a hot drop though?
Yes.
Yes.
But the thing is, why would you risk something like that again with so few matches to be played? And you know, if you lose that one match, or you go out early in that one match, you could be ruining your chance to win $1.5 million. So
yeah.
Okay, so with Alpha 7, that's pretty much their main Sandhawk gameplay that we have seen for all year. I don't think I've ever seen him drop anywhere that is not Sandhawk. And I mean, Bootcamp and Sandhawk. And the reason why I say that is because they love to go towards the mountain a little bit south of Bootcamp, and they just like to gatekeep and dominate that area.
Yeah, it's a really good position to go for, but that's the thing. There's a clear opportunity for Stalwart to do a very similar rotation also to get access to that high ground hilltop. Just go Trifecta. I mean, it was Reject who used to play that position every single time in Sandhawk, and they would have a good amount of success in that position. Trifecta is not contested right now. If this fight goes wrong for one of these 2 teams and you want to try and catch up on your next 2 Sandhawk games, Trifecta is a go-to area for one of these 2 teams.
The thing is, for me, is that this is the least played map.
Yep.
Least played Battleground in the entire event. You play it 3 times throughout these days. Being one of those teams who can be consistent and pick up points so consistently for me is like such a really cool thing to see. Typically, you'll see teams, I mean, Erangel is the most played map, period. Every team should generally have a good understanding. But for some reason, for me, in my head, Infinity always have it figured out. And I don't think we even figured out what the reason was, but they're always so consistent on a map that is coined as being the most difficult and RNG map out there.
Yeah, I think the main reason why you see this team perform so well is every single one of their players is able to frag out big time, and having 4 players that have that big fragging potential in a fight where you could have third parties happening, you need to all have that potential, even if you're an IGL, or even if you're support. That fragging potential is actually huge and is what enabled them to get these, as you mentioned earlier, right, Jason, those top 3 finishes very consistently. So I think that's the reason for their success, but you have other teams from the Western side that have that fragging potential, so it's not going to be all that easy here.
And one of those teams is actually going to be SGG. So during our West League, we had a lot of encounters in regards to hot drops between SGG and Ghost Gaming. Ghost Gaming is nowhere to be seen here, right? So now SGG is going to have that extra time. Oh my.
Damn.
Now SGG, damn son. Now SGG is just going to have that extra time to be able to loot, to be able to figure out which way they're going to be rotating. And I think it's going to play in their favor. If we do get somewhat of a northeast circle, it's going to favor them big time.
Okay, well, speaking of favoring you, can help you guys improve your own gameplay. The OnePlus 9 Pro, you guys can pick up that one with its ultra smooth gaming at 90 FPS. It can help take you to the next level, and you never have to settle when using OnePlus. That's how I improve my gameplay. If Max was using that phone, he probably would have qualified for PMCO. Yeah, you know I had to bring it up. Come on, every PUBG Mobile event, it's literally in my contract. I'm allowed to rip on Max for not qualifying for PMCO.
Yeah, I tried. Okay,
you did try.
The bots were too good.
To be fair, the reason I won't play against Max is because I don't want to lose to him, because then I lose to someone who could even qualify for PMCO.
Ooh. Yeah.
Might not wait. I need to look through. Okay, we're starting early. Okay, they're ripping in, but yeah, I mean,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. It's how it's gonna go.
I didn't even try.
Simon,
No, I didn't even try. Listen, I am the #1 bot in PUBG Mobile. Okay, didn't even try.
Oh, that was you in PMCO. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Also, shout out to Fairmont Singapore for catering with the highest degree of pampering here at PMGC. And really quick, we have to get into our teams to watch as well, because this for us, I think, is a really interesting one, because we're really diverse in our selections here. I'll start things off. I went with the Infinity. As kind of mentioned before, this team has been kind of the most consistent team I've ever seen in PUBG Mobile history on Sandhawk, the most difficult battleground out there. So that, for me, is why they're a team to watch. If they want to place top 3, if they want to place first overall in the event, I feel like they need to have those performances, those strong performances on Sandhawk. Max?
That's a big surprise. I think you never picked Infinity in like the history
never
of PUBG
have.
Mobile.
First time.
He's
First
never
time.
done that. No, I'm going to go with Enigma Galaxy, because team to watch, not team to win. So I think that they can go well. If Ralph is in the blue, you know he's going to get second place. So it's going to be Enigma Galaxy.
That's important, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you can be so consistent, even just teaming off
They
the
got 2
blue
second
to get
places.
points, that's big.
Yeah.
Who do you got, 7?
It's going to be a big surprise. It's actually going to be Alpha 6. I'm just kidding. It's going to be Alpha 7. I mean, I have to go with them, because if they do end up winning that engagement, right, they're more than likely going to end up losing some players. I would love to see how they're going to adjust to that. Are they going to continue to be aggressive if they do lose some players, or are they just going to continue to play the way they usually play Sandhawk?
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously the pride and the hopes of West, but it's time to hop into our next match of the day. So let's throw it back over to our commentators here for the last time of the day. We got Mustache Dave and Necro.
Yo, Maxman. Hey, Maxman, what are you taking notes on, man? What you writing down? Let me know. Game number 3, Sandhawk, of course.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, eto na our third game of the Grand Finals. Sandhawk ay pucha, bumaba na po sila ng eroplano, mga kaibigan. Stay tuned dahil alam niyo naman magiging mainit na naman ang laban. At ito ang ating co-host na si Lamin Supo!
Really going to be eyeing out for another drop clash that is anticipated coming inside. Without a doubt, has to be Godlike and Nova.
Hi guys! Ito na po mga kaibigan, nagsisibarilan na nga po. Ay, nagsisibabaan pala. Nagsisibabaan. Ito na po mga kaibigan. Hindi ko po alam kung nasaan po sila, pero nagtatapanan na po ang Team Secret at hindi ko pa alam yung kanyang kalaban. Ayun na nga po. Kakatapatan boy, tatlo ang nasa ano, dalawa lang nandito. Luging-lugi po ang Team Secret mga kaibigan. Ayun, kung nakikita nyo po, ang bilis po ng mga kamay nila. Pero subalit hindi na po nagpuputukan. Ayun na nga po, ikutan na nga po, patay. Patay ang DWG mga kaibigan. Ito na nga po mga kaibigan, naglulod na nga po si SC Showlim. Ito na po ang Team Navi. Ano to? Navy. Ito na po ang Team Navy. Ano na nga po, umaaligid na nga po. Ito na, pininukutan na nga po ang Team Secret mga kaibigan. Lugi po ang Team Secret dito mga kaibigan. Kasi po nakapeso na po ang TWG, Juni. Ito na po, ikutan na nga po siguro ito. Pero lugi po sila kasi yung hawak po ng isang Team Secret Granada mga kaibigan. Ito na nga po, nasa tuloy pa po, 4 po laban sa 2 mga kaibigan. Luging-lugi po ang Team Secret dito. Kahit sila yung nangunguna. Ito na nga po, nagdumadapa. Galing naman tong dumapa na ito. Dapain mo din ako. Ayan. Wala pa rin, no? Nagsisidapaan lang po sila. Pero subalit, ikutan. Pero ang layo po ng ano. Pero pwede pong manalo ang Team Secret dito once na pumunta po dito ang Team Secret sa kanilang baryo. Ayan na nga po. O yan na, nagkakaputukan na ata mga kaibigan. Hindi ko po alam. Nasaan na?
That's a beautiful split for sure.
Eto na po. Wala pa po.
Man who's kind of distanced himself from the rest of the pack.
Na nga. Iingayan sila sa akin, boy. Ayun nila mag-shoutcast ako. Eto na po, nagkakaputukan na nga po. Susugurin na nga po yung ano. Eto na. Susugurin na po ang Team Secret. Bang! Nagsisibarilan na. Putik na yan. Wala na, patay ang Team Secret. Ito na po, lugi na po masyadong down na po. Matindi. Wala po, down ang Team Secret dito. Patay ang 2 team. Ang bocha naman. Ito na po. Nagsisilayuan na nga po mga kaibigan ng ano. Ang God. Clutch, good. Wala pa rin. Ano ba naman yan? Nahingahin kayo sa akin. Oh my God. Ayoko na nga. Uy, nakamay sila sa akin. Ang ingay ko daw.
Looks like Clutch God
ito na po.
Sorry.
Kaya guys, i-like nyo na to.
Got like a little rough on the rotation. So we saw him lost 2 on that rotate. I have to assume they're not trying to do the same thing here.
Yeah, Clutch God indeed taking things a little safe. And you mentioned Duke and Machine inside the house.
Guys,
Duke and Machine is always one of those teams.
Kung hindi nyo lang pa nitatanong,
he just likes to
ano,
play as quiet as possible.
maglalaro na ako dyan. Kasali na ako dyan. May Team BG na din yan pang 17. Hindi nyo lang po halata. Ang rank 17 po sila.
That's not a lot of games. Because the reason I say that's not a lot of games,
may nagsha-shoutcast pala eh. Kaya pala ako
there's gonna be
maningay.
one team walking away with 1.5 million.
Comment nyo, Lamin Pogi.
Every single point counts.
Yan.
Look at this.
OMG si Kuya Lamin. Ay, naku, OMG, nagugulat pa kayo. Sa akin eh, ako lang to.
They're trying to change things out. Trying some new things out.
Kuya Lamin, so sino nakakakilala sa akin mag-comment?
Just to see how things are going to be changing out for that team. But yeah, Godlike, it seems like again a casualty on their side.
Yan o, galing ni Lamin mag-shoutcast pro na pro. Eh, syempre! Kailan maglalabas ng new Blade si Bon? Kailan ka daw ba maglalabas? Ngayon daw, ngayon. Editing na. Shoutout sa 200 viewers. Ayan na po mga kaibigan, Lamin support. Ba't Lamin support? Sabi ko Lamin Pogi. Ito na po mga kaibigan, si FB Antodalt. Ano si Antodalt? Sino? Ito na po, nagsisisuguran na po ang God. May mga bagong team na nga po pala dito mga kaibigan. Ano na nga po mga kaibigan, nagsisitapa na nga po. Pero po may nakita na po kalaban. Ayan po, puputokan na nga po ata. Ayan, pinutokan na nga po. Ayan na po, madalaw na po, nagtago sa puno. Down nga po ang God. God L po mga kaibigan. Yan na nga po si FB. Team FB tumatakbo sa Gedli. Habang dumadapa ang God. Yan. Sila daw ang gods. Kaya pangit ang FB. Ayan na po. Nagsisitirahan na nga po. Pero hindi na po nila masipat-sipat yung sa kanilang kasi nagtatago silang dalawa. Ayan na nga po mga kaibigan. Hindi na nga po maano. Ayan na nga po. Ang haba naman na yun. Pinutok na nga po. Nagparinig na po si Team FB Bomb. Ayan na po mga kaibigan. Nagsisitaguan pa rin po sila. Pero subalit sumusugod pa rin po ang Team God kasi ang Team God lang ang sakalam sabi nila. Ang God. Kaya God yan. God Lamin. Ayan. Team God Lamin yan. Naniniwala ko naman nanalo to kasi nothing is impossible. Yan. Wala na nga po. Lami isang mabait na tao. Tama. Namin pa shoutout kay Mark Louie Marquez, shoutout sa'yo. Kay Mark Joseph Gaming, shoutout sa'yo. Kay Alexander Malyari, shoutout sa'yo. Kay Alin Pahala, shoutout sa'yo. Kay Cedric Whitey, shoutout sa'yo. Ayan. Magpapatuloy na po ako. Tuloy na po ako. Lalabas na po sa vlog na nagpatuloy na po ako. Pupunta po ako sa hospital. Kung pwede po yung matuloy ulit. Ayan, para ano. Sobrang tuloy na. Yung mawawalan na ako ng ano. Ito na nga po, Lamin Supot. Ano ba naman yan? Mga ganyan mga comment nyo. Yo, para naman yung mga ganyan mga comment nyo. Babaguhin ko sa vlog ni Bon na Lamin Pogi. Ito na po mga kaibigan, yan. Pwede naman yung Lamin Potsu. Yan, kasi Lamin Supot. Lamin Supogi. Yan, mga ganyan. Lamin Supogi. Hello, Julie Aliano. Shoutout sa'yo. Shoutout sa 200 viewers sa atin dyan. Make sure na nakalike ko at mag-donate po ng super chat. Pang Jollibee ko lang po. Ayan, mag-super chat na po kayo. Once na pag may nag-send ng 500 super chat, panigurado may Jollibee ako ngayon. Mautak. Mautak ako, guys. Kaya mga magdodonate dyan. So mga magdodonate dyan ng super chat, pang Jollibee ko lang po, sapat na. Pag may nagbigay, sabihin ko, boy, may 500 dito. Akin na. Ayan, diba? Kaya kitang kabuhayan tayo. I do understand, but I'm gonna add on to it a little bit. Ayan, Chef Arkin, shoutout sa'yo. Ayan, shoutout sa'yo, ah. Love you, God bless. Kung nakikita nyo, idol ang pogi mo, matagal na. Alam ko na yun. Since birth. Napster, Kuya Lamin, shoutout. I really do. Yeah, wow, great. Oh, syempre. Alam nyo guys, may kukwento ko sa inyo. Ito ano to, panpak. Kuha kayo ba to? Umpog nyo sa ulo nyo. Ito na po mga kaibigan, nagsisibarilan na nga po silang dalawa. Hindi ko po malaman kung ilan po ang nagbabarilan. Pero subalit, ito mga magsusuper chat dyan. Pang Jollibee ko lang po. Dadamay ko na din po si Yang A. Is ba yun?
And this also means this brings kind of like RNG inside. And if you
talk about zone shift,
they're also quite drastic on the map of Sandhawk. That means if a zone is
Lower Gaming, shoutout sa'yo. Kay Mark Ramos, kay Roder and Zero, shoutout sa'yo. Dito lang kayong manood sa kay Bon. Magsilipatan na kayo. Kasi magsha-shoutout ako kung sino magpapa-shoutout. Mag-spam kayo ng shoutout. Isa-shoutout ko kayong lahat.
That is sad.
Ito na po, nagsisibarila. Ayan na. Ang galing naman ng DWG. Nakatakas nga po sa Team Secret. Pero naubos na po ata yung Team Secret. Mga kaibigan ko, hindi nyo lang pa rin. Ay, may dalawa pa pala. Wala pa po na elimination round. Ayun na nga po mga kaibigan. Hindi na nga po malaman kung sino mananalo dito. Kasi sobrang daming team. So kung sakali mananalo dito ang Team FB. Ito na po mga kaibigan. Yan, shoutout kay Michelle Laksa. Shoutout sa'yo. Hindi si Bon yan, si Lamin yan. Oo nga, ako to. Kamukha ko ba si Bon? Mas gwapo ko dun. Yan, from Mindanao. Shoutout sa'yo. Shoutout sa inyo. Ang daming pangalan. Shoutout sa inyo. Ayan na. Kay Shoto, shoutout sa'yo. Kay Alexander Malyari. Kay Sarek, Corge, kay Renz, Jacob, Andrino, shoutout sa'yo. Kay Enzo Marcelo, shoutout sa'yo. Kay Smart, shoutout sa'yo. Kay Jocelyn Roble, shoutout sa'yo. Kay Smart, kay Mark, kay El Rin, shoutout sa'yo. Kay John Wesley Flores, shoutout sa'yo. Ayan. Napagod na ako. Boy, wala na akong energy.
Could this be the start of the Paraboy show? You know, Paraboy
comment nyo, pangit si Bon.
Hands down in the game. I'm sure a lot of
Lamin,
people can agree with
support! Ano nangyari?
Nova
Pucha,
Esports
matinding
looking to
bakbakan na
really
nangyari ah.
defend
Uy, pero
their
wala pang
title here.
namamatay sa lahat
Good
ah.
boy. Nice little knock right there.
Alam ko.
UMP.
Pero ano, kamusta
Man,
ba sa
they
inyo
are
si
gonna
Lamin?
keep that to themselves.
Nakakainis
So they're just
ba?
gonna
Nakakairita?
hold it
Kamusta
down
si
for the
Lamin
time
sa inyo
being.
lahat?
And
Tarot
hope
daw,
that
Lamin
Papa
support.
Blue continues to bless
Ba't
that.
pumangit daw si Kuya Bun?
Looking for
Gago,
the
pangit
solid
mo daw.
placement points. Stalwart Esports also north of that current position.
Alright, so
we
NR,
might have two
syempre
Titans
po
here
kasi
that will
dito.
clash very shortly. But
Sino ang
besides that, it's a
pinakamaraming
lot
nakakill
of
na?
individual
DWG,
plays here. A lot of
FB? Wow.
individual
Good kills,
knocks
boys.
erupting all over the map.
And just to touch up on that RNG factor in Santa as well, Dave.
Forma lang sila dito, mga buddy.
This is where I'm going to throw a curveball at you.
He's
16 teams in the game. 16 teams in the game. One player from each team.
Guys,
you want a heal battle.
itong Sunhawk
That
map,
means it's gonna come down
napakabilis
to
lang po
RNG,
nito.
hoping that maybe praying to your God,
Kasi
that hoping
itong
that, okay,
Sunhawk
I'm going
map,
to get top
napakaliit
5.
lang din po
Just
nito.
hoping. This means
Kaya,
it's an
it's
RNG
gonna be
somewhere
a
down
very
line,
fast
right?
game.
Just hoping.
Imagine, 10 minutes in
All
the
it
game.
comes down to is just a little hope. That means
Palit na ng
it
palit.
is RNG.
Ayan na, naku po. MVR, oh no,
I've seen it
man.
too many times.
Down.
I've seen a team just go out, look for the heals, pass it off to one player. They've been practicing the heal strat for a whole year on Sandhawk. So I'm just saying, RNG, I took that. I threw it out the window on Sandhawk. And we are going to be playing only 3 Sandhawks. Sandhawk will make up 17% of the map pool here for PUBG Mobile Global Championship Grand Finals. So I feel like this map in particular can really change the tides for certain teams that haven't been performing that well. And I believe they can do that by healing for points. I'm sticking by it, Necro. You can't change my mind, man.
Okay, dude, you know what?
You can't.
I'm just gonna give up. I'm giving
You
up.
can't.
I'm giving up. I'm just gonna let the viewers decide, and I'm just gonna let the analysts decide who are they gonna be favoring in this kind of a little debate that we're having. But yeah, Fenerbahce in the sides of next Ruya.
Nakachamba ka lang, boss.
Kind of separated out.
Panoorin mo bukas ang ginawa ko sa kalaban kong si Bayaw.
Possible knock spawn being taken out. That means Fenerbahce only left with 2 players to work with, and in the map,
ito na. Moving na ang ating
it's gonna be quite tough to make it out alive.
third map.
One last thing to mention about that. If we see a player heal this game, get solid placement points, point proof, easy as that. I'm gonna leave it at that. We'll see what happens. That's how it works. We'll see what happens late game. If we see 1 or 2 players healing and they go from like a 10th place to a 3rd place,
oh my goodness.
I'm dropping the mic. I'm walking
37
away.
points.
And you owe me a sorry in the DMs. I'm just all right. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there. So getting back into the game though, looks like Gala. They did swim to the docks. They did get some loot, and then they swam right back to Camp Charlie here. So we're waiting to see where this next zone goes. Look at the Infinity though, all the way up there. They're in there.
Look at 628 as well, just taking their time in rotating inside the zone, all the way from the left side. Did not want any kind of smoke with any teams. Just playing things as safe as possible, playing for their lives. Next Ruya.
Itong NR, Team NR talagang
Fenerbahce. I mean, Fenerbahce are already crumbling down. They're on their knees.
Wala na sa kanila
just
tong
want to
compound
wipe them
na
out of existence.
Hopefully not too soon. 16 teams alive still on this Sandhawk match. 13 minutes deep. So you play for 13 minutes, you get taken out right here, right now. 0 placement points. Like that is rough.
Up?
And once when we get past the mid to late game, things are going to erupt. Pairboy.
Anyways, binabati ko lahat ng mga naka-tune in. Kamusta kayong lahat?
Still alive. Able to avoid those sightlines by Snitch. And group up with their teammates.
Kung pwede lang kami pumusta, vote ko Von. Joker Gaming Whitey, appreciate it. Alam mo naman tayo mananalo, hindi tayo magka-level sa billiard. Sabi ni Boss Tony, Boss, tandaan mo, wag mo akong kinikengkoy. Kasi magkaiba tayo ng level, boy. Malaki ang kinaibahan. Ikaw ay banban. At ako, matindi mong kalaban.
There's no way in hell Fenerbahce aren't getting charged on.
Tandaan mo yan, boss.
To hold down the fort, Fenerbahce just doesn't have
Wala ka pa sa aking level.
So this is where a little bit of struggle is going to be seen from the side of Fenerbahce, and I do want to see, are they going to be going for that sneaky play? This is what Duke is really known for. Or Fenerbahce going to be trying to fight back? But I'm going to hold on because Stalwart Esports, they might just be caught out in the open.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Fenerbahce point, and kind of looking at Alpha 7 here. I'm
natin.
that
Oy, nice shot!
Alpha 7, their team, they like to lay down the
previous
trap
match, oh.
on Sandhawk. And what I mean by that is they snake it out. They always have one player scouting the enemy, and they wait for the enemy to get past the initial front liner, and then they all pop up and hit them.
Yo, what up sa inyo mga kaibigan, mga kapatid, mga tropa at mga kamuka. At eto na nga ang DWGA umaandar na at eto magkakatapatan ng FG X Papi versus S2GRI. Mukhang magbabarilan na to mga kaibigan. Ito nagkakatapatan din itong dalawang grupo din dito sa saan ba to? Ano tawag dito? Nagkakatapatan na sila dito. Mukhang nagkakatutukan na, mukhang nagkakakitaan na. Ito nagbabandage itong si ito nag-i-sneaky siya dito sa grass. Yo.
We'll see. Keep bringing up the
Ayan na, nakakaputukan na po mga kaibigan ang A7, pati STE. Mukhang nakakaputukan na dito mga kaibigan at hindi natin alam kung sino maubos dito. At ilan na ba ang namatay? Saan ba may kita yan? Eto na. Nako.
Just waiting to hit these shots.
Nagwe-waiting siya.
You know Action wants to take it.
Sheesh.
Of course he does.
You know
his name is Action. He's the man of action. And he wants all the action.
Eto na. Umaarangkada dito ang STE. Mukhang maghanap ito ng pwesto. Mukhang maghanap ito ng pwesto kasi nasa baba sila. Medyo delicate sila dito mga kaibigan. At itong FG, mukhang bawasan na 3 na lang ang FG at 3 na rin din ang DXF. Yan. Eto mukhang sinisipat nito. Naku po. Isang headshot lang dito. Talaga may tutumba dito eh. Ayan na. Nabulantang po dito ang S2G. Nabulantang po. Eto na. May down na po. Dalawa na po ang down ng F2G. Eto na. S2GT. Grabe yun. Grabe naman yun si ano. Pero may down din sa kanilang isa. Eto. Mukhang babato to ng... Ano yun? No bomb. Eto na. Naku, inabutan siya dito ng ano. Naku po. Eto, mukhang mamamatay na rin to. Naku po. Ang STE, dalawa lang nakikita ako dito. Dalawa na lang ba ang STE? Mukhang dalawa na lang dito ang STE. At dalawa na lang din po ang 4RBLA. Yan. At 4 pa dito ang NB. Mukhang nakapwesto dito ang NB. Bumabahay lang sila. Eto. Isa na lang. Parang isa na lang. Mukhang isa na lang natitira sa STED. Si Shield na lang po natitira. Kasi down na po yung Sinan. Yunan. Eto.
You talked about godlike. They continue to be favored in
mukhang
these zones.
nag-aabang ito.
Exactly what they need.
Kasi nasa labas sila ng zone eh. Naku, makati pa naman siguro ang zone na yun. Naku po, eto na. Eto, sino ang binabaril niya? Mukhang hindi niya nakita ako sa pumunta. Bumato ng bomba pero napakalayo ng bomba. Doon siya tumututok pero wala naman doon yung kalaban. Eto na, umaandar na yung zone natin. Naku po.
And they are able to do so successfully.
Eto, kumpleto pa rin dito ang NGX. Kumpleto pa dito. Eto. Nasa labas sila ng zone.
I do want to see what the final man is doing for 628. I'm pretty sure he might just be going for the heal battle.
Eto, dalawa na lang din DWG. Dalawa na lang din ang 4RB. At kumpleto pa dito ang ano, A7 ba to? Di ko mabasa masyado eh.
That's a legendary kill.
Yeah, it looks like Paraboy kind of decided to stay in
the
the back lines and make
pangatlo
sure
sila.
that their teammates can securely reposition.
Pero dito nangunguna ang STE pa rin. Pero dalawa na lang ang STE ngayon. Number 1 rank sila dito mga kaibigan. Eto na, naku po! Na down! Eliminated na ho! Naku po!
12 teams to go. Yeah. Jimmy, I like
12
that spot
teams
as long
to
as
go.
they're not going to be spotted.
4 na po dito na grupo ang bumabaksak at meron ba tayong 12 grupo. Yung DS, ito na. Sino to? Si Nihat. Nihat ba to? Ayos yung pangalan mo.
Make sure that he's making his mark inside the zone as quick as possible because next Ria will 100% would want to try and hold him off at bay. So Jimmy, he needs to make his mark inside the zone. Things are getting so intense
Ito.
this late in the game of Sandhawk. Infinity as well kind of locked out the zone. They're also taking a lot of damage from the Wall of Death. A lot of pressure.
Mga kaibigan, kung gusto nyo, shoutout sa inyo mga kaibigan.
Slip through their fingers out there in the distance, but surviving is definitely better than that one elim point. So the Infinity out here, down here towards the south, trying to make.
Eto na mga kaibigan. Eto na naku po. Down na. Down na itong Infinmel. Mukhang isa na lang yung natitira sa kanila mga kaibigan. Isa na lang, nako. Kung di nga maliligtas yung kapingan, nako. Talo sila. GG talaga kasi yung iba dito mga kaibigan puno pa tulad ng NRX puno pa dito at ang NGX puno pa mga kaibigan. Ito, magkakaanoon. Ang ganda naman ng laban na to. Tignan nyo mga kaibigan. Talagang magkakakita-kita talaga sila. Magkakalapit lang sila, talagang gera na to. Matira matibay. Ito sumisipat-sipat. Uy, may nakita yun, patay. Eliminated na. Nako. Eliminated na. Ang isang grupo dito. Ito lumalangoy yung dalawang magkampi. Pero ito guys, apat pa pero ito may nakita sila. Isa na lang na nasa bridge. Mukhang sisipatin nila to. Ito na. Naku po. Ito isa na lang din to. Paano kaya sila magsusurvive kapag isa na? Medyo mahirap-hirap to mga kaibigan. Ito bumobomba pa. Nagbato ng Molotov. Ito na. Naku, isa na lang yan. Atakihin nyo na. Ayan na, binato ng what the bomb! God damn! Utong inang galing naman nun.
Jimmy though, yeah, to your point, could play forward, but remember, Jimmy's by himself. So he will not have any help if they do decide to expose their position. That's why
shoutout sa inyo, shoutout sa mga nanonood.
Right now, currently 5 teams to go. Enigma Galaxy with 4. X-Rio with 4. Everybody else down to a
what
solo.
What the move by? Di ko kilala kung sino yung bumato nun eh. Ito na. 4 na grupo na lang po ang natitira. At ang dalawang grupo, ang DX, pati Infi 8, at isa na lang po. At kompleto pa dito ang NGX at NRG. Nagkakatapatan na po. Nagkakaputukan na po ang dalawang kompletong grupo. Ito na po. Ito na. Naku, bumato ng bomba. Naku, nagkakatapatan na dito. Sino kaya ang mananalo? Mukhang mananalo po dito yung Infin kasi mukhang magkakaubusan tong dalawang grupo na to kasi nakakatapatan sila. Ngayon, titignan natin kung sino ang mauubos dito. Ito, bumato ng bomba, bumato ng smoke. What the heck? Pero yung dalawa dito, ang galing ha. Play safe lang sila. Hinahayaan lang nila magbarilang itong dalawang grupo na to na kompleto. No. Ayan na! Ayan na ang sinasabi ko. Ubus dito ang NRX. Inubos ng NGX. Mukhang mananalo dito ang NGX mga kaibigan kasi puno pa sila. At ang habang yung dalawa dito nag-aabang lang kung sino. Pero mukhang mahirap to guys. Depende na lang sa gagawin neto. Ito rin, mukhang magaling din to. Yung DX. Mukhang seryosong si Rabis. Naku, may Rabis to. Mukhang delikado to. Ayun na. Namatay na nga. Wala. Isa na lang ang natitira dito. Ano kaya ang gagawin nila? Isipin nyo. Mismatch to guys. Pero wala. GG na talaga. Wala na guys, GG na. Panalo dito ang NGX mga kaibigan. Chicken dinner. Tumasayaw-sayaw po.
This is the victory dance right there, ladies and gentlemen. And Enigma Galaxy are going to be your winners for the map of Sandhawk. No time. He only has 2. Now the final first state is going to be.
Sana umabot pa siya pero
shout out the freak right there. Enigma Galaxy. They got a second place last game. A bunch of kills. They got 8 elim points this game in a winner-winner chicken dinner that nets you 15 points.
Galing, magaling.
Galaxy,
match ended at nanalo po dito ang
here so far on day number 1. And with 3 more matches to go here today,
magaling strategy nila, sama-sama lang sila.
The team, Enigma Galaxy, their mental, their confidence right now has to be at an all-time high.
Oh, it has to be.
At magbabalik tayo kapag nag-match up na ulit mga kaibigan. Magbabalik tayo. Alright, stay tuned mga kaibigan. Nanalo dito ang NDX.
Enigma Galaxy, all they needed to do was just make the mark in there. They did easily. All the teams that were outside the zone couldn't really make it inside the zone in time because there was just so many guys watching each other out. Enigma Galaxy were easily able to conquer that game of Sandhawk.
The thing is, I don't know how much you can say it was gifted because now this is two games in a row where they picked the position very early on, they held it down, and they rotated accordingly. And then they just ended up with 4 alive late game. Like, there's just too much luck out there to say, oh, they're being lucky, compared to, like, this is planned in advance, in my opinion. But regardless, we'll see what will happen in the next 3 matches. Necro, it was a phenomenal match of Sandhawk. Let's hear what the desk had to say. Will they rip me on my my Meds trap take? Let's see. Let's find out.
Mustache Dave, I can never rip you. Thank you, two gentlemen, for putting on a phenomenal cast, actually. Phenomenal match, phenomenal casting done by you two gentlemen. Enigma Galaxy being phenomenal over the course of this entire event so far. I don't know if it's just Mustache Dave and Necro luck, but Enigma Galaxy 7, I believe you said second place game 1, second place game 2, chicken dinner game 3. Is this the team with the region, as Max said, has been the most improved this last year, who's going to take home $1.5 million?
It definitely has. I mean, remember last year, PMGC, right? We had Zeus, came out of nowhere. This could be it with Enigma Galaxy as well. And not only just the second place, I'm also very impressed at the amount of Ilums they've been able to get. On the first match, they were only able to get just 1 Ilum, but then on the second match, they were able to improve so much and being able to get 9 Ilums. And in this last one, 8 Ilums as well. I think that improvement is huge.
Yeah, I think that was the main issue I had actually with Enigma Galaxy in the past, is they would not be fragging out, getting those eliminations consistently, but here they actually, I think they saw that circle at the end, like, wait, it actually came our way. Like, we're not used to this. We're actually in the circle in Sandhawk. What's going on right now?
Yeah.
And they just fragged out. They made sure that Next Rio were not able to push in that game, but also Next Rio had a great game, but not able to make it happen because
like 11
that push,
elims.
yeah, I think it was, but that push was so hard, and Next Rio just unfortunately got completely shut down by that push from Enigma. So Enigma played it so well at the end.
Yeah, and I think they kind of showed us some depth in their play, right? Every time on Sandhawk, I feel like they always played heel off. They always like, Aruf, take all of our first aids, go out the blue, we'll see you later, we'll see you next match. But they actually showed, hey, if they can play towards the zone, they can do fairly well. They get themselves 8 eliminations, so 23 points in total. They were second place going into this match. I guarantee you they're going to be first place coming out. But also, next Rio, as you mentioned, Max, 11 eliminations, but also Infinity. Again, showing how consistent they can be on a map like Sandhawk.
Yeah, they were playing on the eastern side of the bridge. Of course, that circle at the very end, I think it was phase 8, that went over to the western side in favor, of course, of Enigma Galaxy, as you saw in that game. So they just understood, okay, we're not going to make that cross happen because we're not going to have that third party. It's not going to work out. Give all the first aids over to Gothani and heal off. I think he had maybe like around 10 first aids towards the end of that game, but they were still trying to get those eliminations early on. Was a little bit lackluster in terms of eliminations, but still able to get a top 3. You talked about it earlier, right, Jason, how they can consistently make into the podium finish is because of their adaptability. No matter if they have to go aggressive or heal off, they are going to go for the right play 99% of the time.
And team that definitely got some points that needed it was for Rivals. They ended up, I believe, with 7 points, and it ended up being 6 out of those points were Ilum. So I think that's huge for them. It's definitely gonna kind of break off that downslope that they were on. And another thing, as we are seeing the MVP right here, Nihat, can we talk about Max? The hot drop that we were hyping up for the longest time, and just how correct Jason was as telling us it wasn't gonna happen.
I'm the analyst now.
You're gonna make me cry.
Let's be honest, right? There is that potential for hot drops, but realistically, it just shouldn't happen right now because it's too risky.
Yeah. It's their usual playstyle, which is normally drop boot camp, go to the southern position towards boot camp. They didn't go for that exact spot, but it's very close. They just cut away the middleman and just made sure we're just going to drop in that position, get the loot there, and remain in that position for a big portion of the game, which worked out pretty significantly at the start of it. But unfortunately, as you saw, they didn't make it to that top 3 podium finish, though. You talked about it, Jason. First place with 57 points going to be Enigma Galaxy. How consistent are these guys right now? This is not what I expected.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of what we saw to them. Remember, they had 47 points at the end of the very first Super Weekend. Out of 15 matches played, 47 points. They've already broken that in 3 matches here in the Grand Finals. I think that really is a testament to how much they've improved here since the league stage, but also more importantly, that they are a formidable force.
You know which other team I'm looking at here
Alpha
that
7.
I'm getting a little bit worried about? No.
Navi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Navi. And going back to the main reason what I was saying earlier is this is a team that's not able to carry momentum at all. And with the currently downslope that they're playing on, this is reminding me exactly how they started off Wesley And we haven't even played some of the other Erangels. I am very interested to see, now that I know Alpha 7 is willing to adjust, now that I know they're willing to not put that ego. I mean, I guess 1.5 million will do that to you. But it's going to be interesting if Navi's going to be able to take advantage of that.
Also, shout out to Deke Xavier. I think we give him a lot of criticism in the finals of like maybe not deserving of that second place finish, but hey, they're currently in top 8 at the moment. And also, for you guys at home, not only are we talking about players getting rewards and getting victories, you guys have already pulled off a big victory here for the entire stream. We have hit the 1 million viewers. You can see the token, see the key at the very top of your screen. Head over to pubgmobile.com/redeem to redeem those and get 1,200 tokens that you can use to buy yourself some lucky things. But anyways, we still, maybe tomorrow, maybe we'll bump it up. Maybe we'll do like, if we hit 2 million live viewers, Maxman will shave his head live on stream here. I got Clippers back at the hotel.
Yes.
Maybe we can make it happen.
Yes.
We're not going to do this.
Oh, no,
I'm all for
we
this.
can try to make it work. We'll see if we can talk to Tencent.
It's already
maybe bump
halfway
it up.
there. It's fine. Just got to get rid of the rest.
I mean,
Is that a yes? You're going to do it?
no, don't. I'm helping you.
I'll think about
don't
it.
say anything. Yeah,
Oh,
there we go. That's
we'll
best.
think about
That's
it.
best. But what about some other teams? Maybe surprises, maybe letdowns. We were talked about Navi a little bit.
Fury's Gaming. I'm actually really surprised with this team. This is a team that relied heavily on their chicken dinners as they were able to back up. And I'm going back to the West right here, PMGC West. They had 2 chicken dinners, and those 2 chicken dinners with 19 ilms. They rely heavily on that. Remember, Max, we were talking about that. And right now, so far, I mean, they started off the day pretty well in that Erangel, but so far, nothing's working for them. And if they want to be that first place team, they just can't be relying on hopefully getting a chicken dinner and hopefully trying to get 19 ilms, because the way the lobby is right now, I don't see that happening.
I think they had, what was it, 46 eliminations in 3 games where they got the chicken dinners. You take those 3 games away, they don't qualify for this tournament, right? So we need to see more consistency. The games that are not happening, if they can get maybe 3, 4 eliminations here and there, a few extra positioning points, that is the type of consistency that will allow you to potentially get closer. And when you get those big games, that's going to forward you up in potentially the top 3, top 5 positions. So we need to see a big step from Furious, because right now they've just been a little bit too silent, in my opinion.
Well, I could throw another one at you. We're talking about a team who might not have qualified without those 2 big wins with eliminations. What about 628 from PEL, qualifying in the very last match of the entire event? They're currently bottom of the table at the moment.
Yeah, that was thanks to Yu Yang, but we haven't seen much of Yu Yang and all of his 628 so far, unfortunately. I'm going to pay close attention for them next game, because they just go out super early and they just get taken out outside of the circle. I'm going to look exactly what's going wrong, because it's just nothing's sticking right now.
Well, I bring them up also because we were talking over dinner yesterday. We were talking about like teams we expect to do well and teams that could be the underdog that could do well. And 628 was your choice.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to bash on you in whatsoever, but what I'm saying is like they're really having a hard time right now, which is surprising because teams from China are so strong. But you know what? We'll get into that a little bit later on. We do have a recap coming up at you here in just a few seconds. And again, I'm going to assume it's going to be our victors. I'm going to assume it's going to be Enigma Galaxy. And we'll see here in just a second if it's going to be happening.
I would love to see how they're going to be.
You went from really smiley to
rotations.
serious really fast.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see that rotation. Right? I was paying attention close to the hot drop at the start of the game. It didn't happen, and then he just kind of fell down from there. Also, STE and Alpha 7, I feel like maybe hot dropping each other might have been the play in that last one, because it didn't really actually end up working out for them. Oh man, you got me.
Saw you real
you guys
for a
got me.
second.
I was hoping. I was ready for that recap. It didn't happen, Jason.
Get off that box. We know now.
Hey.
We know it's there. No, we're going to be looking towards the late game circles, and this is actually a circle that's pretty tricky to play, I would say, because here's just a full commit. Or we go to the eastern side, or you go to the western side, and depending on where the circle goes, you have a very big chance of confirming that win. And you're looking at this, you're thinking that there's no way it's going to go to the western side, right? The odds are it's going to go towards Quarry, it's going to go towards
you wanted to see Cave.
The Cave position, which I love those Cave finishes. Didn't quite happen this time. And this is the moment Enigma Galaxy were like, wait, are we 4 men alive in circle at this stage of the game? That just doesn't happen. And they just had all the teams come their way and just pick it up one by one as they were going to the market in the morning.
But they played it so well right there. They decided to stay outside the circle. They decided to just wait and see how some of the other teams were playing. I mean, they waited perfectly for Next Ria. I was actually surprised. Next Ria had 4 players themselves. All of a sudden, I blink and they're gone.
Yep.
In a matter of just 1 second, Max.
Yeah, though next ref, you want to say one thing that was really strong from them, they went for a fantastic push onto Fined Batches. I think we're holding a big portion of that bridge, so they knew they had to commit to that position. They held it well. They made sure that, for example, Infinity could not make that cross happen, but when it came to pushing on a position that was already locked down by Enigma Galaxy, they had that little high ground position, that little hilltop. In third-person mode, you know that position is going to be even more valuable, and they could not make things, make ends reach at the very end. So yeah, Enigma Galaxy able to make it as a 4-man, get themselves a win with 8 eliminations on top of that. If they can make this happen on other maps, maps too. They already got themselves 2 second places. If they can get wins on now Miramar and Erangel, I'm going to be pumped for the Arabic team because they might be able to make it in first place here.
I can definitely see it happening. We're not seeing it here, but during this game, I was looking at Godlike. Remember how I was talking about that was the team that was going to rotate in late. They got blessed with this circle, but it seemed like they just weren't able to take advantage of it. They did only have 2 players, as we saw Jonathan being able to just kind of get caught as they were rotating. But I was hoping we would be able to see a little bit more. It seemed that they just, once again, they waited too late to be able to position themselves for the next circle. So hopefully they'll be able to acknowledge that and start changing it.
Oh, you can really see the POV here coming out. That spread from Nigma Galaxy just made to make sure there was no angles from which next Rare could actually enter from. That is good. They went for, I think that was a 1-2-1. Yeah, there was a 1-2-1, and they were just making sure they had all of that position locked down and then got turning, trying to make it in. The emotes, of course, in class because you know that was in the back.
It's so funny because normally the coin or the foot, the shoes on the other foot, the coins flip in the other hand. I don't remember the saying. Usually it's like Infinity who's like in the zone waiting to finish off the game, and Enigma Galaxy are out there healing. But this time it was Infinity out there healing, and Enigma Galaxy just sit there dancing, waiting for their victory, waiting for that chicken dinner, obviously waiting to potentially take home $1.5 million. But we still have so many matches to come, right? We're only at the halfway point of the day. It's 6 matches a day until we do have our victor across 3 days, and we're gonna find some other teams to step up. I feel like, yes, we're seeing some consistency at the top. We've seen Infinity do relatively well. We've seen Enigma Galaxy do relatively well. Alpha 7 as well. But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, things will be shifted up.
Yes.
Not because I know the script, not because I know what's going to happen, because
you read it again?
I did read it again.
You read it again.
I learned how to read. But it's more about there's still so many good teams. And there's still so much action to happen. But it's coming up after a short break. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes before we get into our 4th match.
At eto na muli tayo nagbabalik dito sa video na to. Sa gameplay pala. Two minutes mga kaibigan bago mag-umpisa ang ating gameplay ulit. Antayin natin ng 2 minutes. 2 minutes mga kaibigan. Ito na. Ito na. Ito na. Antayin natin mag-umpisa. 2 minutes mga kaibigan.
And, play? Oops. Homes are where we build.
Asan si Kuya Bon? May ginagawa lang si Kuya Bon ninyo. Mamaya uupo na rin yun dito.
Power on and beyond with Singapore's most trusted broadband. I saw the first light. The first steps. Now,
maglaro ka Kuya Bon ng PUBG. Oo, maglalaro yan si Bon. At kapag naglaro yan si Bon, yung mga BG dito kami agad ang magja-champion. Ha?
I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail.
Shoutout sa inyong lahat, sa lahat na nanonood ngayon. At huwag yung kalimutan, siyempre, magbigay tayo ng super chat pang Jollibee ko lang. Joke lang.
Welcome back everyone here for some more PUBG Mobile
GTA
action.
na ba yan, Yang? Hindi to GTA, ito ang tinatawag na PUBG. At kung hindi mo alam ang PUBG, search mo sa Google para malaman mo mga kaibigan. Ito na ang second gameplay natin mga kaibigan.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were listening. I'm glad.
Ito na.
I think I saw a look in your eyes like, oh god, what did he just ask me?
Like 1 + 1, 2, tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, we do have Aaron.
Nangunguna dito si Nihat nang galing ng Vietnam mga kaibigan, at saka si Pudur. Vietnamese ata to, at isa si Gods, LS God, galing Pakistan.
That's the thing, they wanted to play the blue, but the things did not go as planned for them, and it's fine. It worked.
Grape Army.
Got themselves a chicken dinner exactly.
Wow, Grape.
No, we didn't talk too much about Godlike.
Shoutout sa'yo.
I like the initiative to try and go for Camp Charlie. It's not positioned as
Nornarlene, Makazaza, shoutout sa inyo, shoutout kay Silence, Axel, Aldobino, what up, man?
It was a good idea. It's a position that they took a risk, and it almost paid off.
I would like to continue to see the changes, though.
Yeah. This is really interesting. You can see like the breakdown of points actually between the teams. I mean, Galaxy, they have a lot of placements and not a lot of eliminations here. I think it was only 19, but 19 actually, to be fair, is still a ton. But anyways, you guys at home who are watching, when you watch PMGC, you know every single time we get to the grand
Tagal
finals,
mag-start ng laban natin,
video and an announcement of what's
Shoutout sa'yo, Ronel Delgaco. Warap. Shoutout sa'yo, Tedeo, Rico, Mercado.
What's in store here for 2022?
Shoutout Cal Gaming.
We had our predictions of what the prize pool is going to be.
Shoutout sa inyo.
Right, as we take a look at this.
Ito na yung highlights.
Fans across the world.
Hindi pala.
I'm James Yang, the director of
Uy, si James Yang pala to. Alok si James Yap.
Well, we've already seen 5 amazing years of PUBG Mobile action. Today, I'm here with you to announce some exciting and amazing news. Let's jump into them.
Jump into them.
From 2018 to 2021, we have continued to build the PUBG Mobile global esports ecosystem. In 2021, we started 7 new pro leagues to cover all regions globally, and also started the PMGC 2021. The overall ecosystem building is completed. So I can say PUBG Mobile Esports 1.0 is done. Now it's a time to move on to the next phase.
Ito na.
This year, we start PUBG Mobile Esports 2.0. The goal of 2.0 is to make this ecosystem pyramid
mag-start mga kaibigan,
and stronger. The first step in 2022 is to enhance the local regional layer for amateur and semi-pro to be more solid foundation. With a stable base, the structure cannot grow, as you know. There are many changes and upgrades, and you can find the details in our upcoming news and posts. But the key change is from our previous format of PMCO to PMPL twice per year to PMNC and regional cups to PMPL once per year. Various tournaments, including PMCO, PMCC, and even major third-party events, will have qualifying slots for the relevant PMNC in 11 countries and regional cups in 8 regions. This is the overall esports schedule in 2022. The noticeable thing is, PUBG Mobile is honorably selected as the official medal spot in both the Southeast Asia Games and Asian Games. The pro players will represent their own country, and it will be a great honor for these talented pros. The tournament pipeline in pro is similar to this year's, but as you have seen, semi-pro and amateur pipeline has changed much. In short, if you want to grab a chance to play in a pro league, you don't need to wait for PMCO. And to top this all off, the 2022 total prize pool will be even bigger than 2021's. We'll be announcing the prize pool later, so look out for that announcement. Another important step for PUBG Mobile Esports 2.0 is to make the ecosystem stronger. We'll start a franchise model in the second half of 2022, first in Southeast Asia. Our franchise model will be different from other existing models. It will be lighter and more open. The detailed information will be shared soon. So, that's all we have for now. let's go back to the thrilling matches of PMGC 2021 Grand Finals. A time to enjoy. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Yeah!
I don't know about you guys, but James Yang is looking ripped. Oh my God, I need to get like his personal trainer, his workout plan, his diet plan, because he is looking strong as hell. But also, we saw the prize pool is gonna be bigger than this year. So at least $14 million.
Man.
Lumilipad na naman
It's really
yung
insane
isip
to
ko.
think that just
Lumilipad na naman ng
first place
isip
team in this
ko.
tournament is going to get 1.5 million. If it's increased even more, it might be like 2 million for next tournament. That is insane to think that mobile esports is growing so much, especially PUBG Mobile. And man, next year you better get in. That's some big money.
More lives will be changed. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait to see the breakdown next year. But for you guys at home, I'm gonna remind you once again that OnePlus, our sponsor here, the OnePlus 9 Pro delivers ultra smooth gaming at 90 FPS. Make sure to check them out. If you don't have it, well, Max, maybe you could have qualified for PMCO. Maybe I could actually be decent at the game if I pick myself up one of those. Max, this is...
I'm sorry. I'm breaking everything. It's cool.
This is why we can't have you in the middle. We can't have you near anything because
I'll go
you're
in the
just going to
back,
break it. Yeah, he's going to go back behind the trophy to hide. But also Singtel for providing PMGC with its amazing high-speed network as well over in Singapore. They were helping provide everything we need here at PMGC to make this all possible. But gentlemen, we're about coming into our next match of the day. Our teams to watch. I'm trying to remember who I chose. I'm gonna guess my own choice because I don't remember what I chose. For me, I think I went with Nova because they were looking pretty good in match 1.
Okay.
They were picking up a lot of eliminations. I think they had 8, and I think that's why I chose them.
Is it?
Is it? Did I
gonna
choose
be-
Nova? Okay,
Hey,
good.
good
All right.
job.
So I might not have actually chosen. They might have just like, okay, we gotta change
We
it
gotta
real quick.
fix it.
We gotta help
Make
them
it
out.
look good.
All right, Max, who do you got?
I went with Na'Vi personally. I think that they have blinders on right now and they're just very focused on fights. I want to see a little bit more awareness. So if I want to see a team step up on the Wrangle match, which is where they typically have some really good results, I think it could happen now.
I went with Furious Gaming. I think we're past now. This is going to be past now, the halfway point of the first day. I don't want them to be relying on just getting those big chicken dinners with those big ilms. It's not going to happen, especially with the way we're now seeing how this lobby is playing out. Hopefully, Furious Gaming, they'll be able to kind of downslope that they're on right now.
I mean, to be fair to them, right? They are playing against the highest caliber teams they've ever played in their careers. I mean, playing in West, obviously really good teams there as well. But now you're playing against like the Chinese teams, the Eastern teams. Things become much more difficult, and for them, maybe day 1 won't be their jam, but maybe the time they have between day 1 and day 2 to recoup, figure some things out, maybe they will have a big step up in day 2.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying things out. They even use the sub, right? They use they're subbing players in and out, so they're actually trying to find what sticks potentially. So they're trying things, maybe also rotations, their macro, their micro. So they're going to try and adapt, right? You still got 2 more days of play after this, but the thing is, one bad day could be already your chances of being in the top 3 podium already out of order. So you need to have a big step up in day 2 and day 3 here.
Something that a lot of West teams are starting to notice, and something that I noticed in the last game too, is you cannot miss your shots. And I'm going to call out Mafioso. Mafioso was able to miss some shots. He had the height advantage. He had the cover too. But the SC player was just able to realize that. He was able to locate him and actually cause damage on him. And Mafioso didn't end up doing anything. So for this team, especially from the West, if you see an opportunity, you have to take it and you have to make sure you're definitely hitting those shots.
And one man that knows everything about height advantages is going to be him here on the end. Let's actually bring in our commentators, though, for the first time here in the PMGC Grand Finals. John Allen and Blank, the men, the myth, the legends.
Thank you, Jason, for that lovely introduction. I'm just still hyped from that James Yang outro, man. I was having a good time. Whoa, okay, we're going to.
I'm a US now. Let's go. I'm going fast. I'm getting into PMGC 2021. And I'm happy to be here. And you know, Jason's completely right. If there's anyone who knows about height advantages, it is 7. With that box, it gives him unparalleled power on that desk. He's looking good. I like the Furious Gaming pick. You know, it wouldn't be my first pick, but looking at West overall, John, honestly, they were a cool competitor for me. And I think that they have some potential. Just haven't seen too much of it yet. So maybe here in Wrangle, it's time. Maybe with the blessing of 7. Who knows?
Absolutely. You know what I want to see? I want to see a desk, Jason, Blair, and 7. That's what I want to see. I think that would be great fun.
What, just the green giant and 2 hobbits?
I don't think... Oh, dear. Oh, absolutely. I would greatly enjoy that. I think that would be a great time. But I'll tell you what else is a great time. This playing path, very central, pretty kind to everybody on this Erangel drop. I mean, we did have that sort of milli circle last time. It was cruel. We'll see a little bit kinder times this time.
Yeah, people didn't like that. And I think one team that played that out pretty well, and I'm going to give them credit for it, was Down One Gaming. You know, they head down to Cliffside, picked off Shaq, and then got a really nice squad wipe. Used that ability and that time to cross the actual river between Sosnovka, well, more like channel between Sosnovka and the main island, and got on. Obviously, it's not ideal, but I think we were discussing this, John, and you made a really good point and said that, you know, it was the right play in the moment. Unfortunately, the right play doesn't always result in a win, unfortunately, but I do think Down One's still making those right plays. However, their overall caliber of team fighters in this lobby has been elevated a lot, just having Western here. We know West is an aggressive region overall. Whenever I've actually casted or watched games from
Eto na! Nag-umpisa na ang ating laban, mga kaibigan!
Most of the time, we're seeing that a lot more
Eto na!
here in the PMGC Grand Final.
Sino kaya ang mananalo? Mananalo ba ulit ang NGX? O kaya iba na ang makakakuha ng kampyonato? Ayun ang tanong dyan. Ito na naglulot na ang Infinity. Naglulot na sila, mga kaibigan.
I have to say, I mean, their points total's great. We've had a couple of criticisms as to how they've gotten those points, but you can't argue with the results.
Yeah, exactly. And just how beautiful this PMG Scar is. You know, the circles have also been equally beautiful coming through for the guys at Enigma Galaxy. You can see that in just that stat total we actually saw.
Tumatakbo dito si ano.
A lot of their placement points is the grand majority of the
ang WG dito sa ang TSJ nag-rides lang, mga kaibigan, at kumukuha lang sila ng mga loot.
Where they practically just stayed in that shack, in that compound.
Hiwalay sila, no?
I do think that that play means a whole lot just in terms of the game there. I think when you look at it, like, not being able to win that game says a lot about Enigma Galaxy. Now, they're a team that, yes, I'm still a fan of, and I love the way they play Sandhawk, and finally they come away with a first place rather than a second place there, but still there are things that are wrong with this team. Not to say that right now that first place isn't deserved. A lot of the games correctly.
Barel, nagluluts-luts pa rin. Nasa looting, ano pa lang tayo, looting time na to. Paunahan mag-loot dito para makakuha sila ng mga magagandang barrel at ready na sila sa may pagpupakan talaga.
At this point, you would summon maybe some of the other PUBG Mobile teams.
At titignan natin kung paano at kung sino ang mananalo. Kasi kanina nanalo ang NGX. Ngayon, makakaisa pa kaya ulit sila para makuha ang kampyonato. Titignan natin yan, mga kaibigan. At eto na ang NBJ. Medyo naghihiwalay ang NB dito, ha. Naghihiwalay ang NB dito, ang grupong NB. Hiwalay-hiwalay sila. Ito ang UNR. Ito ang RN, naglulot-lut pa rin.
Wow to you guys. Honestly, go redeem your tokens. You deserve them. Get yourself some great rewards.
Naglulot pa rin, mga kaibigan.
Throughout the entirety of
Lut lang, lut.
Announced for 2022, which we're all excited for, but there is that 1.5 million on the line right now for the PMGC Grand Finals.
God, do you know what? All the prize pool I need is James' little dances at the end of those segments. I absolutely I live for that. It's so good.
Eto na. Looting time pa lang tayo, mga kaibigan. Titignan natin kapag full loot na sila kung sino ang mangunguna sa laban na to. Makukuha ba ulit ng NGX ang panalo? O mapupunta sa ibang grupo to na hindi pa nananalo. Hindi natin alam. Kumbaga, bilog. Parang ano yan basketball bilog ang bola. Ito naman sa PUBG, bilog ang bala.
Currently sat very solidly within Pachinki, yet Down One Gaming's off to their northern side, potentially trying to find a place to find home. They have gone very central. This is more akin to what we saw in their league finals, where they were able to put up some mad numbers.
Mad numbers on the mind at the moment. A good gap for Enigma Galaxy as we hop on board there in Pachinki. Moving a little bit northwest, and look at that Lord giving it to him. Glasses up the nose. That's how you know he's serious.
Oh, I know, right? He's logged in. He's locked on. Doesn't have his glasses in game, though. Doesn't need them with the phone that close to his face, you know. That's fine. We don't need that. He's not going to go for that eye damage. He doesn't need the glasses getting in the way. And realistically, he just needs them to see far, far away. And right now, victory is close to his future. As we can see right now, with the points currently on screen, 57, first place. Second place sat at 39. Good stuff from Enigma Galaxy. Again, cannot fault them. But his next Ryu is really kind of like that wild
Ito,
card
nag-rides lang dito ang FG, mga kaibigan.
cylinders in the finals for West. But their league play, it wasn't really all that astonishing, to be honest with you. But they do look like a good team to me. I'm still rooting for them. I think they found them some very good positions with the map and the circles so far. And I think they've fell prey to quite a few of these third parties, unfortunately.
I'm gonna loop back a little bit to what we saw in East League is the rotation from the Infinity from this military base drop that they've gone for at the moment. Generally, it was guarded out by Reject over on that bridge. It started out a little bit 6-2-8 guarded, and then Reject sort of took over that. And now Reject not in the lobby, S2G are in the way, but they might not be guarding it in the same sort of fortitude as we saw from Reject. So it might make the Infinity
Still S2G, very, very spiky opponents. They're extremely hot-headed team, honestly. And not in a bad way either. I think when they come into a fight, they definitely fight with passion. And I think that's the main thing that we can take away from S2G is that some of their team fighting ability is extremely strong. Just taking a look at some of the West that I was able to pick up on. And for me, I think S2G is a team that can get towards the top of the lobby. Fortunately, they're lagging behind a little bit. And in a 3-day stint, you really want to start off strong, which is why it's so dangerous letting Enigma Galaxy get towards the top here when this team really does rely on those steady and consistent points, especially from Sandhawk. They do it well on Erangel and now also on Miramar. And that's terrifying for me. And I think Enigma Galaxy getting a good head start like this is something they can keep up with. I don't think Enigma Galaxy is the most flashy team in the world, but they certainly put up points when they need to.
Absolutely. I mean, they're on 50 set. That's almost a 20-point average, right? Coming from 3 games, a phenomenal start to proceedings. But that is subject to future variance as well, right? It's likely that they're going to see some 1, 2, 3-point games over the course of this 18-game set. And we'll have to see when that starts to come through, because the later that happens, the less likely that it is to happen, right? As soon as you lock in those big points totals, it gets less likely that you're going to drop off on that variance.
And I do think that, you know, last little point on Enigma Galaxy here, if you are a fan of the Arabian region, right, like Enigma Galaxy is doing something that we have never seen from an Arabic team before, and that is really topping the tables over in these teams where we're playing with the best of the best. Usually, we do have an Arabian team that gets in and does decently well, but it's more towards the bottom of those rankings, whereas Enigma Galaxy right now, they are putting a statement on, and realistically, they're a fantastic Arabic team, and it's good to see this kind of change come about when we just haven't seen that so far in a long, long time. Taking a look right now, though, at the map, heads up towards the northern side with this circle. Going to cause a fair few problems, especially with so many teams down towards the south side of the island. On the other hand, Alpha 7 make their little run away from that top side of the map towards Severny. Team Secret, they will have to weather the storm. That is the big problem for them right now. They're in a very, very much contested area within that tree line. A lot of teams would be heading through this way. So
meron tayong panibagong vlog, so make sure to tune in. Oops,